ridden for Bobby Regan. You've ridden for Mitch Payton.
Off the rip already.
Let's
lock
go.
in. Let's do it.
Let's lock in, dude. Nick Romano looked like he was on the fast track to a great pro career. But that didn't go to plan. And now he's with Pro Circuit. And he's in the middle of writing his comeback story. Is there a big piece of you that goes into your pro career being like, oh, I'm a fucking killer?
For sure there was. I mean, I dominated everything as an amateur. Bobby calls me. He's like, hey, you want to get on a pro bike next week and get on Soupy? Get on Supercross. I'm P1 at the test track. I'm like, all right, like we can go pro.
Ready for a Supercross debut. And with the speed to win, the worst case scenario happened.
There was just easy seat mounts 3 out of a turn, I remember. And I just yacht. And it goes, ooh. Break both my arms, concussion, I'm laid out. Damn, there goes Supercross.
Just like that, the injuries start to stack up.
It went from the arms to the concussion to the thumb, ACL, meniscus, Epstein-Barr. It was just a fucking spiral, dude. I wasn't gonna give up on myself. That's what quitters do, and I ain't a quitter.
When most would have walked away, Nick kept going. Then, a phone call changed everything.
Phone call, Levi Kitchen. I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, so I just got off the phone with your new boss. Nah, dude. Yeah, just have your phone on. You're gonna call in like 5 minutes. Mitch Payton. I'm like, oh my God, dude, this is it. So, did Levi call you? I'm like, yeah, he just got off the phone with me, but I didn't know if he was messing around. Like, I've been waiting on your phone call, you know? And he goes, yeah, we're on, let's do this. Just like that.
Nick Romano bet on himself, and it paid off big.
The suffering, the crying, the sleep I lost, the misery, like it all just gone, dude. Like I felt it.
I didn't know the story. You made a fucking fan out of me through this.
Yeah,
and
I appreciate it.
I'm definitely going to be cheering for your success in this next little bit, bro. Gypsy gang, welcome Nick Romano to the podcast. I'm going to interrupt this podcast to bring you a pretty crazy statistic. 70% of people that watch this channel are not subscribed. That does a couple of things. A, that means that you might not be getting served this content the minute that it comes out. And it also just tells YouTube that they're not really worth watching. So if you want to support the podcast, the easiest and quickest, most high impact thing you can do is subscribe to this channel, give this podcast a like, and leave a comment down below to let us know who you would like to see on Gypsytales next. We're going to do our best to bring them to you. All right, let's get back to the podcast. Nick Romano.
What's up?
Welcome to Gypsytales, bro.
Thank you for having me. Long time in the works.
It has been a long time in the works.
Yeah.
Now, the question on my mind is, you've ridden for Bobby Regan. You've ridden for Mitch Payton.
Off the rip already.
Let's
lock
go.
in. Let's do it.
Let's lock in, dude. You've ridden for Bobby Regan.
Yep.
And you've ridden for Mitch Payton. Which gives you more internal pressure to perform? What aura influences you in the biggest way?
Dude, I don't know. No one's asked me that before. I mean, there's pressure on both ends for sure, but like growing up, I was Team Green, amateur. Like my dream was to ride for Mitch Payton one day. So like just how it all went down and how I got the seat, like it still blows my mind. Like it doesn't even feel real, honestly. And now me and Mitch have gotten pretty close through this last couple of weeks, and like, I don't know. They're two completely different people. Bobby's got Bobby things and Mitch has Mitch things, I guess you could say. But I don't know. The pressure things, whatever. It's honestly a dream that I've ridden for both and am on PC right now. But tough question. I don't know.
Because those dudes have an aura, right?
Yeah. I guess so. Like Mitch Payton has aura out the butt, and then so does Bobby. Like, but two different kinds of aura.
Totally different people, bro.
Two different kinds of aura. So, I don't know. I'd say Mitch has like more of the G aura, you know, like he's Mitch Payton, and then Bobby's got like the Bobby Regan. I mean, you've met both, like, you know, it's just two different worlds. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Mitch has got like a say less approach. Mm-hmm. Like Mitch can say a lot without saying anything.
For sure.
And that's its own deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that comes with its own kind of pressure in a sense to what the fuck's he thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard the not even horror stories, but like I've heard Mitch Payton can be gnarly, you know, and maybe more so back in the day. And obviously everyone knows how Bobby Regan is. So he's extremely gnarly when he can be. But like Mitch has he's got the racing side to him and he's got the family side to him. Like I go over there for dinner all the time, and him, his wife, his kids, like I do feel like I'm one of his sons, and then show up at the race on Saturday or we're at the track during the week, and it's like, we're here for one thing, it's business. So that's cool. Where Bobby, like, never really hung out with him other than at the races, and there's good times, there's bad times. I'd be laughing with him one race, next race he's got me in tears. So like, you could take it for how it is, but I mean they're both sick, both two completely different people.
How hard was the time at Star? Because you have this crazy amateur career, then you go to Star Racing, and I mean you were in like a pretty crazy era. Mm-hmm. It was like a weird time in Star's history to where it was like you, Haiden, Dax.
Yep.
Like, who am I missing that was like in
Fry, LeBlanc.
Yeah.
Nate was there for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So it was like a bunch of these like young kind of... Yeah. It was when Star really started just be like, we're taking all the good amateurs and they're going through the program, you know?
Yeah. No, it was a sick era, a sick time. Like, wasn't really how hard it was or how great it really was. Like, I mean, I signed a pro contract with Bobby when I was 14, I think, coming off Husky 85s. And a lot of people don't know this, but back when I was like 11 or 12, he gave me like a 7, 8, 9 year contract. Like, dude, it was fat. And it was the summer that Cooper Webb, AP, and Mitchell Harrison were out south of the border. So it was, I can't remember if it was like 2015, 2016 around there, but I was an SOBK at times when I was traveling and stuff. And I remember Seth Rarick was helping Coop at the time, and me and Seth go back from New York, and they just like came over and knocked on the hotel room door, and it was me and my dad, and those rooms are, dude, like 2-bedroom, like they're shacks, and he was like, it was him and Swanee, and they were like, hey, can you like get out? We want to talk to your dad. And I'm like, dude, I'm a kid. I'm like 85. I'm like, whatever, yeah, go for it, whatever. So I'm doing my thing, riding pit bikes, and then come back 2 hours later, and my dad's like, Star Racing wants to sign you. And I'm like, what? I'm like, no way. So anyways, that was a cool little story. But my time at Star was good and bad. I mean, it was a long 5 years. Obviously, in the beginning, I was a young kid, B class, A class, winning everything, having a good time, moved to SoCal. Like, it's just, I'm a kid living the dream, right? Like,
so you were before the goat farm.
I was before the goat farm. I was on the team when they transitioned to the goat farm. So like my first 2 years on the team, it was still SoCal. So I got to see both sides of that. And it was awesome, dude. Like me, Jarrett Fry, Matthew LeBlanc, like we were the three. We go to the races and just wax kids. And we did it with ease because we were just we were on better bikes, we were better riders, like, and we did the work, but it was more so like at that time we're just going through the motions of doing the gym and the bike rides because we're like, whatever, like, we don't need this, and then you get a reality check quick, whenever that is. But it was fun, man. Like the amateur days were good, and then I went pro in summer of 2022. So my whole plan was to do, actually, I was going to do Supercross that year, but in 2021 was my A year, swept Minios, won the amateur rider, whatever award, whatever they call that.
Horizon Award.
Yeah, whatever it is. I still have, it's a cool award, but I went to Minios, swept everything. And I'm driving home, and I remember it was me and my sister, and we lived in Tallahassee, so it was a 2-3 hour drive from Gainesville or whatever. And me and my sister driving back to my house, and Bobby calls me. And typically, like how I did it as an amateur is after every big race, I would take about 2, 3, 4 weeks off, whatever it was, because we trained a lot for those races. But then we had downtime, and so I'm going back, and in my head I'm thinking of like, oh, what can we do on the off time, whatever. And then Bobby calls me. He's like, hey, you want to get on a pro bike next week and get on Soupy? I'm like, of course, why not, and get on Supercross. And this was before my pretty big stint of injuries or whatever you want to say, but get on Supercross. And that was when they were still on the old Yamaha. So like, dude, that thing had years of development and all that on it. And get on Supercross. And that off season was like Craig, J. Coop, Cole. Like that's when, I don't know if it was 2021 where they won both coasts. But it was a sick
Cole
year.
won one.
J Coop won one.
Yep. And then
And
you had
Craig won
the
22.
next year.
Yeah.
Yep,
So
yep,
they were dominating all ends.
Then they had Ferrandis then too,
They
right?
had Ferrandis. Yeah. Like the team was stacked, dude. And get on Supercross a couple days, a week, 2 weeks. I'm P1 at the test track. And I'm like, I didn't expect it, but like, I'm like, all right, like we can go pro. Like, okay. And then, dude, bad day came around and like my tranny explodes in the air of a triple. So I pull the clutch and save it. I'm like, oh my God, just escape death. Go out, couple mechanics do a motor swap. Well, someone didn't check something on the air boot. Air boot was on, but not tightened. So I go back out. And you know when you get like a new bike or new motor, you're kind of whatever. And there was this easy seat bounce 3 out of a turn, I remember. And I just, and it's one of those at the bottom. Dude. Ooh, and it goes, ooh.
Oh.
Full like this. Break both my arms, concussion. I'm laid out.
Fuck.
I was like, damn, there goes Supercross. And I was bummed because I was ripping those for those couple weeks and whatever. So come back from that. And I came back around, I think that was in like December. I think I came back like February, March or something like that. And then team's like, all right, well, you're on for outdoors. So Swanee has this thing where he wants all his rookies or riders to do, the goal is 50 35-minute motos before Paula. So I'm in the midst of I'm doing 2, 3. I even did a day I did 4 35s in one day. Like I'm hammering these out. I think I got a concussion at some point in that time. So I think the end number was like 45 or 46. So like I still had a bunch of 35s in and ended up going pro that summer at Paula and like ripping the whole shot.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just like, I watched that race so many times now. Like, I'm like, dude, I was dumb. Like just young, dumb, full of it, dude.
Yeah.
I went out and I dropped like jet and everyone like 2, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, lap 1. I'm like, dude, I was ripping. And then 4 laps later, dude.
Yeah, and they're all
like,
just looking at you being like, the fuck is he going? Where the fuck is he going?
So, and J Coop, actually, me and J Coop were boys from back home, and he warned me. He's like, dude, if you get a good start, like, it's not like the amateurs. Like, well, one guy passes you, it's 25 more. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Sure enough, get the whole shot, start fading. Jet, Hunter, J Coop, 4th, 5th. Next thing you know, I'm in like 25th. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I thought of that out there, and I'm like, yeah, he wasn't joking. I probably should have listened to that, but whatever. So I had a good summer going. I think I was like a top 10 guy, making progress. I had a couple good motos. And then Washougal that year is when me and Nate Thrasher salamied ourselves in the air. And I like barely tore my meniscus in my knee. So it was just enough to where I had to go get an injection, whatever. And I got the injection Monday and I couldn't walk. And then it was one of those where I woke up Thursday morning, I think, before Washougal. And I went from not being able to walk to being like fine. So I'm calling everyone like, yo, I can race. Like I can walk, I can race. And call Bobby up and he's like, no, you're not racing. I'm like, what do you mean? Like I'm on the way to the track to see if I can ride, which I knew I was going to be able to. Sure enough, a couple minutes later, I'm crying because Bobby's like, nah, just stay home, dude. Whatever. So I'm calling my people. And anyways, I still went to the track, did 230s that day on a Thursday, completely fine. Call Bobby again. I mean, I'm blowing him up at this point. So I'm like, Bobby, I can make a red eye. Like I can make the race. And he said, nah, just stay home. Enjoy the weekend off. So that really triggered me like bad because he's Bobby.
That's that aura.
Yeah, that's the aura, but I don't think that's aura.
But that is the aura.
It is aura, but it's bad aura. I don't know. But we can get deep with that. But anyways, I'm like, whatever. So that lit something under me, and we had a weekend off. It was like the Loretta's break after Schugal, and I came back for Unadilla. Freaking almost won the moto. I think I was in 3rd with like 2 to go, and I had Hampshire behind me. The last guy you want behind. The last guy you want behind you in an outdoor race.
Yeah.
He's hunting me down, dude, and whatever. He got me with like a lap or 2 to go. So I ended up 4th. I think I got like 6th overall maybe that day. Like
That's
pretty
sick.
Good race. After just getting hurt, missing one, like whatever, rookie year. I'm stoked. Unadilla home race, dude. I had all the boys there. All the boys, family. I'll never forget that weekend. That was a fun weekend. And dude, the Monday or Tuesday after Unadilla, I think it was going into, this was before SMX, the last year before SMX. So there was like maybe 2 or 3 more races after that. And I ended up tucking the front, tore my UCL, I think.
Dude.
just like dumb crash, like hit this roller 150 times, get hurt. So that went my year in 2022, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
So I actually got scammed recently on a credit card, which was a nightmare to deal with. A dude in the UK bought $3,000 of Lego, believe it or not, and some Nando's. So I had to cancel the card, I had to wait for a new one, I had to dispute the charges, the whole deal. And this was the second time it happened to me. And it really just made me realize how important proper security is when it comes to anything to do with your money. And this is why I started using Cash App, which was awesome when they reached out and decided to help us out on the podcast. Your security deserves to be a priority, and Cash App treats it that way. With Security Lock, Cash App requires a successful Face ID or biometric authentication to access your account. It's like your money is protected by your own personal bodyguard, even if your phone is lost or stolen. Plus, if you're about to send money to someone new and Cash App notices something looks a bit off or that you might be falling for a scam, it will send you a warning before the money is sent to confirm that everything looks right. Turn on Security Lock in your Cash App settings today and pay attention to scam warnings to keep your money safe. Learn more at cash.app/security. For a limited time, new Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use code SECURE10 in their profile at sign up and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial service platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank. Member FDIC. Discounts and promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures.
Let's go back to that triple up ramp and just hearing that ball. Like, it's one of the things that teams obviously don't want to talk about for obvious reasons. But I feel like that's quite unfair to the rider because you start to get this narrative of like, oh, Nick Romano's hurt again. Nick Romano got hurt. But it's like, okay, so maybe one of them is from a dumb crash that's your fault.
Yeah.
But then this one that gives you a crazy concussion and breaks both wrists completely out of your control.
Yeah.
And it's hard because you can see why the teams don't want to say anything. And you can see why they want to keep that shit under wraps. But at the end of the day, it affects the way... A rider is like a tradable commodity on a stock market. There's a motocross and supercross stock market.
Yeah.
And your stock is now lower after these injuries.
Yeah.
But some of them is just, it's not your fault. But that narrative is never allowed to get exposed.
No, it's not. And I think it should be, whether teams like it or not. Like, I had a couple, I think I had 3 of those on Star where, like, I remember once at Lake Elsinore Supercross, bike shut off, collarbone, both arms. I think another one, I, like, sprained my wrist or something because of bike. And, like, yeah, I mean, shit happens, right? I mean,
I was going to say, like, that's not Star's fault. There was probably 9 guys doing motos today at Star with no problems.
Exactly.
So it's not like this is a Star problem or it's a... Dude, I heard Barsha did 2 motors on his Ducati at Parla yesterday.
Really?
So it's this happens in this sport.
It's motorsports, yeah.
But when no one knows and it's like secret squirrels, it just makes you look like a fucking squid that keeps getting hurt. And it affects your stock price, you know?
No.
Star's going to be fine.
For sure, yeah. I mean, you're right with that. Like, it sucks, and I get it. It's the sport we're in. It's dirt bikes, motorsports, however you want to cut the pie. But, yeah, it definitely is brutal. And, like, dude, me and Dino are good boys, and you know how many he's had of those, you know? So it's the shitty thing about it. I hate talking about it. You know, what's in the past is in the past, but it happens, yeah.
Well, it's just cool to get a bit of perspective that some of the injuries that you went through, they're just not on you in that way, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, yeah, I've had a bunch that were on me and a bunch that weren't, you know, and you never know how the road could have gone without the ones that weren't. You know, I could have went pro in 22 and just, I'm speaking, you know, out of whatever. But say I get hurt, you know, don't get hurt. I go pro, whether that's west or east. And like, you never know. You just never know, you know.
You could have dodged something worse.
Exactly. So it could have dodged something worse, or I could have had a better road, you know. And even like going into after that summer in 22, like I get healthy from the thumb. I had a killer off season. That was the last year on the old Star bike. And like I say it, I've said it once, I'll say it again. That old Star bike was maybe one of the best 250 dirt bikes I think ever will.
So what year was that? 21, 22?
That was 2022 off season going into 2023.
So that bike before the new 2023.
Before the 2024.
Oh no, 2020. So yeah, 23 is when they changed to the 450. And then 24 is when the 250 followed.
Yep.
So that 23 250F was the best 250F ever.
That 22, 23 bike, like I got hurt. I did my knee ACL meniscus the week of, I think it was Houston that year. I was supposed to do East. It was going to be me, Haiden, and whoever else was on the team at that point. I don't know. There's so many guys there. But yeah, like that bike, that whole, like I said, all 2022 to the off season in 2022 leading into 2023, like it was, dude, that bike was insane. I mean, they had what, 5, 6, 7 years of data on that thing. You know, thing was crazy. But yeah, anyways, had a sick off season then and blow my knee out the week of Houston. So missed all of 2023 and it was just, that's where it all started. So whatever, it is what it is. I feel like I've climbed my way out of that pretty well, but it's been a battle for sure.
I rode the amateur Star bike when I did that video with Cole. And it was like the worst conditions to ride. They
outdoors, right?
Yeah, it was outdoors, but they were doing a bunch of riding there all morning. So the track was beat. And then it was like beat to shit, baked.
Yeah.
And then I was going out there, just me, on my own, with no one around, and they fucking watered the thing. So it was like
ice.
Hard, gnarly ruts, like complete ice on a fucking gnarly bike that I've never ridden before. Yeah. And we had like an hour to get all of these shots. So it wasn't like I got to moto down.
For sure,
I couldn't even do any of the fucking...
You just got to feel it.
I couldn't even do any of the jumps.
It's like a tease, it's like a tease.
But man, there was like some sections that they weren't big jumps and it was just open sections. And like, obviously the motor, which I know the pro motor's way gnarlier again, but like just the handling, like the front end was just stuck to the ground. Great dirt, obviously, but man, like the geometry and the balance of the bike was unbelievable. And there was this one turn, and this is all relative, like I'm fucking slow. So like,
I got inputs.
I'm explaining it in my terms, you know what I mean?
No, go for it.
But it's like, just the front, like you felt like you couldn't push the front.
Yeah.
Like just so much control.
You know what? A lot of that is if you had a spec tire on there too. I don't know if you did or didn't.
I would have, yeah.
Yeah, that spec front tires are insane.
Really?
Like insane. Because trust me, I've had them before and hadn't. Like
I went with and then I went without.
Yeah, it's spec tires are sick. Yeah, that was probably a lot of that feeling you had.
No, I remember being blown away by that. Just being like, fuck, like the way that you can lean on the front of the motorcycle.
Yeah,
it was just like turning was an afterthought. You know, whereas like I'm normally really trying to feel the traction because it always feels like it's about to go. And that thing was just like, just stuck.
Yeah. No, that's cool. They, I mean, for you, like going from a whatever bike to riding a bike like a Star bike is probably like, holy shit. Yeah. Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
We get blessed.
Bro, the fucking sound that thing made.
Yeah.
The boys, it was funny. Like Austin and that, they were out there with me. Austin and Lockie. And Austin's like, bro, just ride past both Supercross tracks on the water truck lane and just fucking hold it open. Don't change gears. He's like, get it in third gear and don't change gears.
It'll go.
Oh my God.
It doesn't stop. No, it doesn't stop. It's nuts. Like, and that's why like how do I say we, but like the Star amateurs, we get this bad reputation of, oh, we revved the bike. Like, I don't know if you saw the clip of me and LeBlanc at Paula.
Oh, you have to.
Why
would you not?
They tell you to. Like, I remember when Anstey got on the team, you know, GP guy, sound, and comes from a Honda, whatever. Like, he wasn't revving the bike. And they were like, you have to, like, ride this thing like you want to blow it up. And that's how that's how I got taught to ride a 250F, you know? So I think, and I'm not talking like Barsha spec, but you have to rev the piss out of that thing. And, you know, me doing that for on Star for so many years, and like when I went to the Honda light privateer bike for a little bit, I was riding it like, I'm like, dude, this thing is about to explode under me. Like, I can't do that. So Yeah, whatever. We get that reputation of, oh, we're revvers or blah, 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 blah. But that's just how you have to ride that thing. The harder you ride it, the more you rev it, the better it is. It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Just screams, dude.
Yeah.
That was actually mind-blowing. And I wasn't even on the good one.
Yeah. The amateur bike to the, I mean, I don't know how it is now or when you rode it, but like when I was coming up, big difference.
Really?
Big difference, yeah.
Okay.
Big
So
difference.
was Deegan on a pro bike at Loretta's? The whole claim thing?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. What year was that?
Fuck, I can't remember.
22. That was 22. I don't know, man. I really don't.
Conspiracy? You a conspiracy guy?
Dude, it all started from that one kid. Like,
I know.
I have no idea. I stay so far out of that shit.
How
like,
funny was that, bro? That shit
it was
blew
mentally,
the fuck
it was.
up.
Which, I mean, I get it. It was sick for the fans and media, but I don't think he was. I think just the Star bikes, like,
That
just
good.
they're
That's
just that
how good they are.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what's funny too? Like, I'm obviously close with all the Star guys
Mm-hmm.
now, but they said that Haiden wanted to ride the amateur bike in Supercross,
Really?
like at the start, because he was
Yeah.
just not.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
He just
I
was
do
not
remember that.
used to how gnarly
I think he did actually. Yeah.
the
I do
pro
remember
bike
that,
was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but man, watching that whole thing, I was like,
Yeah.
you guys really give a fuck about this? But if you're Star, even the amateur bike, like anything, you've invested millions and like, so Brendan Haas, the club, he was saying he guesses that Star would spend between $7 and $8 million a year on the 250 program. So you're telling me that you're gonna let a kid claim one of those bikes, even the amateur bike, because there's some shit in there that carries over.
For sure. Yeah.
So
for
like
sure.
you're saying that and like another engine builder wouldn't put up the money to like get that Star DNA
Yeah.
and start selling that as like,
You got to be an idiot not to if you had your hands on it.
dude, 100%.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
crazy fucking
Yeah.
crazy. But you were there at that time. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
No, I don't. Like I said, I really don't remember if he was or wasn't. I don't think he was because like they're not stupid. Like they wouldn't. They knew he was gonna go there and dominate. Like, so yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think they ended up putting him on a GYTR, just like a
Yeah,
basic.
I remember they put him on an Ed Torrance motor, which was they're kind of similar to the like Ed Torrance. He built or still builds a great 250F Yamaha motor. So I think he just ended the week on that, which I don't know if people are saying is a big difference or not, but I rode one of those because that's like what Levi was on before he got on Star, and they're good.
Dude, Levi was in your whole
Yeah,
group as well.
Yeah, Levi came on late. Levi, dude, me and Levi, we're best friends. Like, he's just on.
He's the best.
Yeah, no, he is. He's
He
like
is
my
such-
guy, but
he
he
is
is just on
such
his
a good
own
dude.
type of timing, 24/7. So like
Seattle,
I don't
bro.
know, yeah.
He's up there.
Just those P&W people, dude. I don't know. I come from NYC, so it's different, bro. It's different.
So, what was it like growing up in New York racing? Like trying to be that guy, because there's guys that have made it.
Yeah,
like
oh yeah.
Jacob,
Yeah.
Barsha.
Yeah.
Like, you've got the whole
Yeah.
like Northeast crew that like the fucking Southwick boys and like
Yeah. No, it's sick looking back on it. Like, Jacob is from Long Island, so he's about 30 minutes from where I grew up. And I'm from New York City, which is Queens. So I'm in Queens right
No
on that.
shit. So you're from like in the city.
I'm from like New York City. Like, our address is New York City. Even though it's not Times Square, none of that. Like, it's 20-minute train ride to MSG or Madison Square Garden. But
So how the fuck do you get into dirt bikes living there?
dude, I don't know. You'd have to ask my dad that. I've heard that so many times, and I really don't know. I think my dad was just like a weekend warrior guy. Him and like Paul, one of his best friends, like they were just weekend warriors. Get off work and load up the double moto tote on the back of the SUV and just rip up to like AK Farms or somewhere upstate or Jersey or wherever it was. And I don't know. I guess I was born and he got me a bike, and I guess I was good at it. And that was that.
It's a trip, man. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to New York City a bunch of times, and
Yeah.
just like the hustle to just survive in New York City, just to
Yeah.
live and exist in New York City
Yeah.
before you add in trying to ride a dirt bike. Like it's just a wild place for dirt biking to become your career.
It's different, bro. New York City is a city that never sleeps, like truly. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm from Queens, and I'm kind of right on that cusp of Queens and Long Island. So a lot of people say I'm from Long Island, which I'm not. I'm not from Long Island.
Don't
so
be disrespectful.
Don't disrespect me like that. I'm a city boy. I'm a city boy. But yeah, no, it's we had a couple tracks growing up, like 10th Street MX, and that was like me and J Coop's spot. Like, cause me and J Coop.
So you spent a lot of time with him as a kid?
Yeah. So he's obviously a bit older than me, but he had 2 younger brothers, Reed and Ryder, that were my age and 1 year younger. And like Reed was gonna be like the next big thing. Like I think he won Loretta's maybe on like a 4-6 bike or was second. Like he was it, you know, especially because we didn't, like, my dad didn't know like what Loretta's Lynn's was, or, you know, he'd go to the races and cheer on for whoever it was at the time, Stu or like whatever. So Justin Cooper's dad was actually the one that like was like, hey, your kid's pretty good. Like you should go try it and qualify for Loretta's. And then that's really where it all started. So, yeah, I spent a lot of time with J Coop. And if anyone or you know J Coop, he's to himself. He's quiet. So that's kind of how he was when I was, you know, a young kid. But used to ride with his brothers all the time. And there was 10th Street MX and a couple spots that no one really knew about. Like there was one sand pit that's where we learned how to ride sand. And it was me, J Coop, and a guy named David Milano that knew about it. 3 of us. And this place was like whooped out. Like we called it the Lommel of Long Island. Like it was a 30-second lap time, 45-second lap time, but like you got what you went there for. So that was the sand spot. We had the hard packed wood chippy spot at 10th Street, and then Englishtown, where they used to have Kawasaki Race of Champions in Jersey. Sorry, I can't speak, but yeah. So there was a couple spots, and then just traveled a bit when I got a little bit older. And yeah, just took off from there.
What did you think that? Like, what else would you have wanted to be? Was there ever anything else that you wanted to be as a kid, or like moto was just so locked in?
I don't know
for the whole time. Because when you're around the city, like the city just has an energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's artists, there's fucking rappers, there's cooks, there's
everything.
Like entertainers, there's fucking gangs, there's like there's so many things that are just like thrown into your face.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Yeah.
And it's just like to end up as a dirt bike rider
I
from
know.
Queens. It's fucking crazy.
It's nuts. I really don't know. Because like you have
Action Bronson is from Queens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like you have the Barshas that are from New York, but he's way upstate.
They're upstate.
Which is like tracks, dirt bikes is a thing up there. You know, like the Queens, Long Island vibe. Like, dude, I mean, nothing really. So I don't know I don't ever think of that. Like I was locked in it from a young age, and I went to Catholic school growing up and got homeschooled at a young age. And I kind of realized I had it when I won Loretta's in 2014. So I would have been, I don't know, 7, 8 class, whatever. I can't do math. I'm stupid, guys. Sorry. But when I won Loretta's, I went 1-1-1 that year in 7, 8. And I was like, okay, like this is pretty sick. I can do this. And then went back. That's when I got the amateur ride for Kawasaki and went back that year, and that's when, you know, the whole me and Ryder D actually had the rivalry from, I think, Minio's, like 2012 was our first race. But it was like Reynolds and Ryder and Yoder and LeBlanc, and there was a handful of us that were all dogs, you know? Like we all kind of made it to become something, you know, to some extent. But yeah, I think in 2014 was like, all right, I can do this. And that's when, at that point, I was already traveling. Like I went to south of the border MX, and I was never a facility kid. So traveled a bunch, but never stayed. And I just grew up going to different tracks. My dad was big on that. Never stay somewhere for a long time. Go here, go there, ride this, ride that, travel to Cali, this, that. Like I remember I went to Bakersfield at some point and stayed with Reynolds and rode the hills for the first time. And just, I was all over the place growing up. So I think that helped me a lot, learning and seeing a bunch of different things. But yeah, I mean, 2014, I'd say, is when it was like, we got it. Let's do this, you know?
Do you have any like crazy memories of growing up in Queens?
Not really. I feel like I have a bad memory. So yeah, it was mellow. Like, I mean,
well, you've had some concussions, so.
For sure, yeah, for sure. That probably doesn't help. But nah, I mean, we're in a chill neighborhood, like, you know, white neighborhood, and nothing crazy. Like, we're in a nice area, but nothing crazy. Like I said, I mean, I started traveling and racing. Like I didn't really, I don't have any school friends still, or like, if I go home and go out to dinner, like, you know, we call it Bell Boulevard in Bayside. Like that's kind of the spot when all the guys are home from college or girls or whatever. And like, I'll go see people that I'm like, dude, that was my best friend in kindergarten. Like, actually, that happened to me the other, like, couple times ago when I was home, maybe off season. Went out with my sister and, you know, her and all her friends, whatever. And I'm kind of hanging out. So I'm like, I'm going to spend time with my sister. And I, like, look over and it's like this dude, that girl. And I'm like, oh, my God, those are, like, people from my class. So went up to them and actually went up to, his name was Steven, I think, one of my best friends when I was in school. And I was like, yo, you remember me? And he's, like, looking at me. He's like, nah, you might know my twin brother. And I'm like, nah. And he's just, like, you know, like, looking at me. And he's like, holy shit, dude, Nick. I was like, yeah, what up? Dapped him up. And then we bantered for a second. And I was like, all right, I'm out. I'm leaving. But, yeah, just stuff like that. So I don't really hang out with any of those guys. I got small friend group back home from Moto, like some of my best friends, Flem, Vin, JoJo. Shout out to the boys. I know they'll love that. Just met them through Moto. And those are, like, my 3 best friends. But because they're New York guys, like, we're different. We're different in good and bad ways, but, you know, they understand me. So, it's cool.
That's sick.
Yeah.
So where are you living now?
So primarily based in Florida.
Okay.
I have a house, track and all that in Center Hill, which is the mecca for the Central Florida tracks. Like, I'm in that Claremont, Dade City area. Yep. So I'm like a mile from Eldon's. Rattray's used to be 2 miles from me. Blake's was a mile the other way. So Moto Sandbox is like 10 minutes from me. So, like, we're all in that's the zone for sure.
Yeah. So where are you training at mostly now? At Sandbox?
So after the Star days, I went back to my house. So I've actually had a full facility and house in Center Hill since 2017.
Oh, no way.
So we built it at the end of 17, trained there in 2018. And then in 2019 is when I gave the Kawasaki's back and we went out and bought Huskies because I wasn't getting the good stuff. You know, I wasn't the West Coast dream kid. So we decided to do things on our own and trained at my place, which I have like a full soupy track, moto equipment, barn, water. I mean, I got the whole thing. Yeah. So I'm thankful for that. You know, my mom and dad blessed me with that. So we had that. And when I was on Star, like 2019, 2021, I was in Cali, dude. Like, I'm out here in SoCal. Like, my place is just sitting because my parents are, you know, they got jobs and businesses, and I got 2 younger sisters in New York, so they're taking care of their things. And place just sat for years and years. And I remember my dad was like, fuck, like, we're going to sell it. We got to sell it. Like, I'm losing on it. And I'm like, I'm like, whatever, you do you, Dad. It's yours. It ain't mine. Like, and he just never sold it. Always kept it. And probably a big thanks to my mom for that. But, yeah, I had that, and whenever I went back from Star, I had the whole thing ready to go for me. So went to work. It's whenever I signed with Phoenix, had a pad, track, whole deal. Shout out to Moto Sandbox. They're right down the road. Jason and Stacy take great care of me. Like, I can go there whenever I want.
They're such good people.
Unbelievable. Like, I feel like they're my
Bank is like
parents.
Underrated.
Yeah. Sandbox is sick. So I'm there a lot at Moto Sandbox and then at my place. So, like, our crew right now is Kenny, Levi, Shane, Joey, Crockett Myers. Like, there's a bunch of us down there. So I call them ride days or whatever. But, like, say if I prep my track on a Sunday, call the boys, you know, say it's a race week, I'm like, yo, put it in a group chat or call the boys or whatever. And I'm like, Tuesday, my place, let's do it. They're all down for it because they like going, you know, different places.
Different tracks.
So, say we ride a Tuesday at my place, Sandbox Wednesday. Next thing you know, we're out to the races Thursday. Is typically what they're doing. I haven't since I got the new gig on PC. I've been out here. Yeah. But that's kind of like the mojo. Even when I was training on the 450, that was kind of the deal. And then Friday, I either ride at my place or go there or whatever.
Yeah. That's a sick little setup.
Yeah, it's badass, dude. If you're ever down there, come out.
I would actually love to.
Come out. Yeah.
So you do the Cali thing with Star at the start of your career.
Yep.
So is there a big piece of you that goes into your pro career being like, I'm a fucking kill it? Like, I just won the Horizon Award.
For sure.
Going to Cali on the best bike. Like, cake.
Yeah, for sure there was. I mean, I dominated everything as an amateur, as a kid, as whatever. So, yeah, I think there was a lot of that. I think I went pro at 17, I think I was that summer. So I was young and, you know, you've seen it. They do the scrimmages at Star and like when you go P1 on a day at Star, you're you're pretty, you got it. Like, you're in a good spot. So, yeah, like when I went pro and all that, I mean, like I thought I was going to go and just sweep everything, which I'm sure maybe most people do or don't. I'm confident in myself. So I was like, yeah, we're out. Let's do this. And then what I said earlier happened at Paula, and I'm like, holy, like we got a lot of work to do. It hits you like a train.
So what did you get wrong?
I don't know. Honestly, I haven't thought about that. Like, I think you just underestimate how, because as amateurs here in the States, like we always race, whether it's 2 to 3 guys that, whether it was jet or rider, like it's always 2 guys. And then 3rd, 4th, 5th place or a half a track behind you, to where like in the pros, there's 20 badass MFers, like they don't stop. They're hungry, So I think I underestimated that my rookie year. And then just little stuff. Like I said, you can do so many 35s like I did at the practice track, but shit don't correlate to the race, So just little stuff, I think.
So, yeah, there's just an intensity that is very hard to replicate, you think?
Very hard. Yeah, like even now, like when I went to Birmingham, I had a crazy off season on my 450. Like I put the work in and I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I was like, I'm going to be fit on a dirt bike because I'm still a badass. And if not, so be it, whatever. I'm still fit, look good, got abs, whatever, So, yeah. And then you show up to Birmingham and you can ride with Levi or Kenny and whatever. But dude, racing is just different. Like a lot of people don't understand that. Like you have to have racing under your belt to know, because you forget, like when I went to Alabama, you just forget. Like for me, it was 2 years since I'd done my last main event. And I'm like, wow, I forgot, like, bad start in the heat race. Forgot how mental it is mid-pack. Like you literally got guys just bing, bing, bing. You're cross jumping, you're saving this, whatever. And then like you forget about, I had a terrible heat race. Go to LCQ, you forget how many maniacs are in the LCQ that just want to kill you. So got out of that good. And then in the main, the track just gets so gnarly. And TV doesn't really do it justice.
No,
like you've done a track walk after a main or whatever. Like you got...
Bro, I wouldn't want to ride that shit outdoors. Like if it was outdoors, that's too rough.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's Supercross.
Yeah, no, I know. You got 5, 6, 7 ruts, like literally just stacking to where the point, like say if the berm ends, there's still ruts on the flat, So you just forget how like gnarly it is. And
it's very, very difficult to replicate that at the facilities.
It is. Like say, if you're in Florida, you can get ruts, but maybe 2, 3. In SoCal, we don't have any ruts. So, like, I think that's why a lot of people have moved to the East Coast because of that reason. You get rain and yada, yada, yada. But, yeah, you just forget about the little things, really, is what it comes down to. But then, like, after my first race, I'm like, wow, we got work to do. Get out the pen and paper, go to work, figure out what I got to do better, what the team has to do better, what I have to get better with the bike. Like, just never ends.
Was there just... I'm just trying to think about, like, your position as a kid, like... You've kind of got it fairly easy, like super talented.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just have crazy talent and style on a bike that you can't teach. You probably can't learn.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just some dudes have it, some dudes don't.
Yeah.
And you're one of those guys, right? But I think that oftentimes, like let's look at Hunter Lawrence. It just doesn't have that in the same way that you've got that.
Mm-hmm.
But the dude's in a 450 points battle.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's something that it's like the more talented you are, the harder it is for that rider to like really put in the work and really, because you kind of don't have to for the longest part of your life.
Sure.
So your talent can actually become a curse of sorts.
For sure.
Do you feel like that is like a part of your career story in a way?
No, not really. Like I've always been a hard worker. I've always busted my ass with whatever that is, training. And like when I was a kid, amateur 65, 85, I didn't train, dude. I'm from New York. I'd wake up, rip 2 bagels with cream cheese, coffee, lunch, hit like 4 slices of pizza. We got lasagna or chicken franchise for dinner. Like I was a fat little stubby kid. But I didn't really, like I've always, my dad was strict on me. Like if we're getting up at 6 a.m. to go to the track, I'm up at 5:45 ready to go. And my dad instilled in me when I was young, he was like, well, you're the one that wants to ride. So if you want to ride, you're working on the thing. So Sure enough, we get home from the track. It's pitch black out. I'm out there with the pressure washer, doing oil filter, whatever. And he's there helping me, keeping an eye on me, and whatever. We kind of tag team the bike, but like I always just had that work ethic from when I was young. And obviously I have talent, yeah, but I also have the work ethic. And I think that shows of just how I've kind of gotten myself back on the mend.
Sure.
Like shit didn't just come to me. Like I had a lot of long nights, and I lost sleep and tasted blood and felt the stress. Like it was, the last year or so was gnarly for sure, So no, I would have to disagree on that.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some guys, like, from the outside looking in, you see someone that has so much talent.
For sure.
And you're like, I can see how this caught him out to where the results just didn't translate.
And that's kind of where I go back to, like, with the amateur racing here, dude. We're growing up winning these titles. It's 4 or 5 lap races. You don't have to have stamina or fitness. If you're raw on a dirt bike, easy, bro. Names popping up in my head left and right. And then they go pro and later, see ya, working a 9 to 5 right now.
Yeah, legit.
Straight up, yeah.
So we'll go back to the start. So the first year is a bit of a wash. So you did 5 years there.
Yep.
Did you do 5 years pro with them?
No.
So it was like 2 years amateur, 3 years pro?
Something like that, yeah. I signed a 5-year contract. It was just a 5-year, boom. And I can't remember what it was. I think it was supposed to be like 3 amateur, 2 pro, and then maybe flip-flopped. I went pro. I signed, I'm trying to think. My first race amateur was 2019 Mini-O's, and then I went pro in the summer of 2022. So, yeah, I guess. And then 2022, missed 2023. And then, so I guess I was like 2.5 years pro. And then 2024 was my last year there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And just injury after injury from a certain period.
Yeah, I mean, it really all stemmed from, like, even before I went pro, like, in that offseason I was telling you about. It went from the arms to the concussion, the comeback to the concussion to the comeback to the thumb, comeback, ACL meniscus, comeback from that, Epstein-Barr. Like,
damn,
it was just a fucking spiral, dude. But I did what I could. I wasn't going to give up on myself because that's what quitters do, and I ain't a quitter. But, dude, it was just, like I said, boom, 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 boom.
And how hard is that mentally?
It was hard. Like, thinking I was going to become the next guy right away. And I get it. Everyone's path's different. You look at Haiden. He barely got hurt. He's a dog, or you look at a Faulkner or an AC, like, same thing. Like, and I give those guys hella respect because people do not understand how hard it is burying yourself over and over and over again and coming back, like in Austin. Yeah, he might have had a bad year or so lately, but, dude, AC, respect those guys. Dude, you have to. And they get so much hate, like, it's bullshit. It really is, because people don't understand it, Like, you do. You're a rider. You got hurt, whatever. Maybe not to my level or our level, but, like, yeah, the sport's gnarly, and people don't realize that, which is, it hurts me in a way of seeing that for those guys, because I've been one of those guys. And, yeah, I may not have the race wins yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah, I mean, even Jet was in, I can't remember whether he said it on camera or off camera, but he was like, dude, I would be in bed at night, 10:30, can't sleep, with a towel around his fucking ankle and just, like, making his knee close.
Yeah.
To get his heel to his butt and just being, like, in tears, fucking cranking on this thing all night.
Yeah.
And it's like, people don't see that.
People don't see.
And then you go to parlor 1-1 and everyone's like, fucking, that's amazing. And then, like, you see him break down and, like, the emotion.
Yeah.
It's because you can't go through that process and not have it, like, affect you as a person. Like, just the pain and the grit. Like, what you've been through with all of these injuries. Like, I was doing an interview in here before for the Grit and Grind series that Jacob does that I was telling you about. And he's just like, Malcolm's injury. He could have died.
Yeah.
Bosch is lucky to be alive. Malcolm is lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
I've been at tracks when dudes have died. It's fucking real.
Yeah.
And then, dude, you know that after A1, Malcolm rode on Thursday.
Yeah. Nuts.
That's fucked up.
Nuts. Yeah.
Like he nearly died
Yeah.
on the Saturday.
Yeah.
And by Thursday, he was driving his ass to the test track.
Yeah.
Apparently, he only did 2 5-lap motos.
Still
he
he
just
got
had
up
to-
and went.
But he had to get
Yeah.
back out. That is fucking heavy, bro.
Yeah, it is. Like, I think, I don't want to speak for everyone else, but like for me, like I said, I've been through that and it shapes you as a person. It really does build you. And like looking back on it, and, I know I have a long career ahead of me, but like just with what I've gone through and what I've done, like, dude, I don't want it a different way. Like, it's nuts. Like, I've learned, and I'm a type of person too, like, the bad, you got to learn from it. You can't just be like, oh yeah, race sucked, whatever, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, you got to learn from it. Just move on. Fix what I did wrong. And, I've learned a lot from it, the good and the bad. And I guess I've had more bad than good, but we got a long road ahead.
So what was the hardest in that process to deal with of those injuries?
Missing the races, missing what I love to do, like it was, the big one was my knee. When I did my ACL meniscus, that's the first time I'd really done anything lower body. And like, you hear it's going to be a while. And like, yeah, it took me, I think 7 months until I rode again. Cause I had a couple issues with the recovery process, but like, dude, 7 months of hell, like hell, dude. The first month I can't walk. Second month I'm relearning how to walk. And then you start getting some mobility and range of motion or whatever, but just hell, like, makes you want to quit, I've said it to my mom and parent, I'm done. Fuck this shit, But here I am. I'm back at it, Like even at Polo when I dislocated my shoulder last summer at the opener, threw my shit on the ground, sobbing, crying. I remember it clear as day. My mom's right here. Done with this shit, dude. Like just, just raging. Like, but, what else am I going to do? There is no plan B. So.
Bro,
yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Like it's fun. I'm like having this conversation today about all the husky for this husky thing. And it's just like, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, and this is relatable to everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, I got a fucking business. I got
Yeah.
5 employees. I got a fucking wife.
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I have to come in here and do
I
this
know.
shit. I love what I do.
I know.
And I'm lucky and I'm blessed that I enjoy what I do. But like, I have to do this.
Yeah.
There's no, and that's everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys, it's no different. There's a couple of guys that don't. Eli Tomac, he could not show up to another race
Yeah.
and he gonna be all right.
He's going to be okay. Yeah.
Jet Lawrence, he gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Like there's a few of those boys that they don't have to.
For sure.
And it's for the love of the game and it's for their own reasons.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, 90% of you guys, this is a fucking job.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if it ain't this, then you're going back to square one. And that's probably worse.
Yeah. No, I agree. You definitely have the handful of guys, Jet, Coop, Eli, Ken, like they're good, bro. They're chilling. They're just doing it at this point.
Coop too.
J Coop. Yeah, NBA J Coop, dude. For sure.
He real good. He nice with it right now.
Shout out
to Jillian.
Yeah, shout out J Coop and Jill. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? End of the day. And like when you're hurt in those times, like you're thinking about, all right, where do I start now?
Yeah.
Shit, I haven't found nothing, So it's all about the recovery and back to it, You kind of start from square one after every time, and some people are different. You can like do Jet right now. I saw him in G's the other day. I'm like, I heard he was riding this week.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, he ain't riding, bro. Like can barely walk. Heard he rode. Heard it went good. Sure he'll go 1-1. Like some people are just different like that, But that's why I would go back to everyone's path's different. You just got to wake up, bust your ass, and that's it.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Brunt Workwear, and I have got the brand new Marin boot here to show you guys right now. Over the last couple of years, I just wanted to get rid of doing the sneaker thing. They're not waterproof. They got super dirty, and I would end up with track shoes. I wanted to be able to rock some boots. I just made a lot more sense to wear boots. So I've switched to wearing boots, and now I've switched to wearing these Brunt boots. There's a super short break-in period, and they're lightweight, they're waterproof, they're slip and oil resistant. they're heat resistant, and they're electrical hazard rated. A lot of you guys that listen to this podcast, you're on job sites, you run machinery, and you actually really need and test all of these features every single day. So now you can finally have durable work boots that are as comfortable out of the box as your sneakers, and over 500,000 customers agree. Brunt didn't just make a durable work boot, they've reinvented comfort for the hardest workers out there. For a limited time only, our listeners get $10 off at Brunt by using the code GYPSYGANG at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com and use the code GYPSYGANG and you are all set. And even better, Brunt will let you try this work boot risk-free on the job site. After you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. So please support our show by telling them that the Gypsy Gang sent you. So when did you find out that the Star deal was done? How does that take place?
Wasn't really anything crazy. So that last year, I struggled with Epstein-Barr.
All right, so maybe let's just stop there then. So how does that happen?
Dude, you can get it from a million different ways. I think me was just overwork, honestly. Like, because again, I'm a workhorse, and I think it kind of goes back to those injuries. If I was just like that the whole time, hurt, even when I'm downtime. I remember when I was recovering from my knee in 23, Thrasher did his ACL like 2 weeks after me. So we had the same surgeon. And me and Nate, one of my best friends too, like we lived 5 minutes from each other. And dude, like when we can get back on the bicycle, it was not right away, but we got up to like 300-mile weeks, like we're thinking we're in the Tour, dude, like, and maybe that
Tour
hurt.
to tally.
Yeah, literally, dude, just the same roads over and over and over again. But, it was, just straight workhorse mode all the time. So I think it just came from, I never stop. And I think I've learned from it too. You gotta have a balance.
You kind of buried yourself.
I think I was just burying myself just over and over and over again. So I think it was from that. Luckily, great doctors, everything, all taken care of now. But, I don't know, the Star thing. I mean, like I said, that Supercross summer or Supercross season, even before my rookie Supercross year, was 2024. And remember I like separated my shoulder or something 3 or 4 weeks before the opener. Like, bro, I'm like, dude, like, Jesus, it does not end. But, I went into the opener, and that was a race. You remember it was Detroit 24 when there was that massive pileup coming into the first turn. It was like Vial, Haymaker, me, Ferry.
Yeah.
Massive,
dude,
just explosion.
Ferry hit the wall.
Yeah, he hit the wall.
Yes.
So I'm like, sick season opener, dude. Like, bars are bent. And I kind of dinged my shoulder from that. It wasn't bad, but I remember feeling it when I got up, and I'm like, whatever. Tried to do the best I could, but my bars were cooked. So, I went into that season hurt, and I got that covered throughout. And like I said, it was just a never-ending battle, like, from when I went pro to now. So, hopefully that's in the past. But,
So you get a phone call. Like, how does it work to be like, hey, like, we're not doing it again?
No phone call? Because obviously you riders know. You kind of have feelings with how you get treated, right? I was at the bottom end of their stick, so it was, you kind of just know. And as every rider does, you start calling people, you start looking, because it's your career. You ain't gonna wait on Bobby.
Yeah.
You know what he's got going on a lot. So I kind of knew, I'd say, beginning of outdoors, like after Supercross. So I think his whole deal then too was like, so I'll resign you if you win a moto or win a main. I got the sheets of what's wrong with me. Bobby, what do you mean? Do you I can't. I trust me. I'm racing every weekend. I'm suffering, but it ain't gonna cut it, bro. And I can't even see straight 15 minutes in. Like, I wish I could go out and win, but it ain't that easy. So, you know how Bobby is. Well, if you don't win, kick rocks. Like, all right. So there was a point where I, I'm selfish, whatever. F you. But I'd say it was kind of around that after Supercross, beginning of summer. And even all summer, he was like, yeah, you win this moto, I'll stop right here. Boom. All right.
And he would have too.
He would have, for sure, yeah. But I don't know. There was just a lot going on. Even like Dax that year at Ironman, it was the season finale, and he had some health stuff too going on. Dude, I think he had a year. What was it, 24, 25? Yeah, he did. Was Daxton Star last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. So he was fine, but same thing. He had some health stuff going on. Goes out and, like, this is just how Bobby works. And you either gel with it or you don't. But, like, Dax qualifies, I think, 20-something.
Yep, I remember.
Dude, and, like, you know.
You ain't racing today, son.
Yeah, like, we're all lounge, bottom steps, top steps. You've been in that rig, whatever. And I'm the first locker. Dax is next to me. Like, again, one of my boys, so whatever. We hit the meeting after Q1. I'm like, whatever. Like, I see the time. I see him down there. I'm not going to say nothing. Bobby comes in, throws his glasses on. He's looking at it. I said, Daxton, you sure you want to race today? And I'm, again, in between them. I'm like, fuck, here we go. I can't just get up, you know? So Dax is like, yeah, I'm good. Bad practice. He's like, all right, well, if you don't qualify top 10 this next one, you're done. I'm like, whatever. Come back, look at the times again. I'm like the first one up there. So I'm like, I got to know, dude. I got to know. I think I qualified, like, I had a good qualifying. I think like P4 that weekend, whatever. Threw a lap in with Levi, actually. But anyways, yeah, come back. Dax was like 17th. I'm like, oh, this ain't going to go good. So I step back, you know, whatever. I'm up there. And I could hear everything that goes on right there because I'm right there. And so, yeah, we're putting your bike up. You know how Bobby is? Just, yeah, putting the bike up, boy. Baxter's like, nah, bike's already up, like straight up. The bike is up. It came back from the rig. And I'm like, and I'm in my head, I'm like, holy, because Bobby's done that multiple times, but he never did that with me, the bike thing. So, turning off, it's a disaster for the next couple hours, and I'm trying to sleep, and everyone's just, I'm like, fuck, whatever. Yeah, we're going to get ready for Moto 1, first call. Bax was sitting next to me crying, like, just effed up shit. So I don't know.
I mean, it's heavy.
It's heavy.
But, dude, like just Pierce today was showing me clips of, there's a Amazon show on the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like one of the coaches, I don't know shit about hockey. So I'm like the wrong person to be telling the details of this story.
Yeah.
But he's just like, fuck this, fuck that. Fuck you, like losing it, dude.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's fucking sport, bro.
Yeah.
I played football as a kid.
Okay.
So I played rugby league, right?
Like
rugby, not American.
Okay.
You know, like no helmets, no pads. So I played that from when I was 5 to 17. Every Tuesday, every Thursday, every Saturday for fucking ever.
Yeah.
And then we'd race on Sundays.
Mm.
And dude, I was like an 11-year-old with a coach.
Yeah.
So we had like, I grew up in like a fairly black town. Mm-hmm. And so my team was like, I was the only white kid on my team. Like I have these crazy, there was actually one other white kid, but he was on the bench. And so I was like the only white starter in my team.
A little white boy, a little motion. Yeah.
But he, like, and so my coach was black.
Yeah.
And dude, the shit he would say to these fucking kids was like out of control.
Gnarly.
And so point being is that like there's a real culture, like that's a thing in team sports and that's a thing in the locker room.
Yeah.
And, like our sport doesn't have it in the same way.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more of like an individual team sport. And like Bobby played football at
That's what
college.
I was going to say. Like Bobby comes from the football team.
Yeah.
That's why when you go down there, dude, everyone's same time, same place, same this, same that. It's a scrimmage, like everything.
Yep.
Which, like, it works for some people and it doesn't, you know? Like, look at Cooper Webb. It worked for him.
Look
But
at
Cooper
Haiden
Webb,
Deegan.
yeah, exactly. Deegs, like, so I don't know. We can go on and on and on about this shit. But, yeah, it's just how the cookie crumbles, I guess.
So did it not work for you or was it just the injuries?
Nah, I could take that. I could take that stuff. Like, that stuff, like, I'd look Bobby in the eye and be like, you know,
fuck you, sir, respectfully.
Yeah, literally. And he likes that.
I was
stuff.
going to say, and he
loves
respects
it. Yeah,
that.
I would look him dead in the eyes, like, all right, motherfucker, you know? But it wasn't the Bobby thing, you know? Bobby, he's got a good heart, you know? Everyone's got a good heart, you know? It's just, I just got cooked, dude, with injuries. It was just a battle. From when I went pro to when I was off that team, uphill battle. So, yeah. It is what it is now in the past. And that's kind of like where I go back with Mitch now. Like, dude, Mitch and the Aura thing, I don't know. Like, we can debate that forever. But, like, Mitch is, like, I've done 2 races now for him and comes back. And even in Birmingham, I'm like, fuck, dude, I was like, shit. I'm sitting there like, damn, I know it's coming. What happened? I sucked, Mitch. Like, we got work to do. That's it. all right. Like, that's it. All right.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't. He kills you with the silence.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's like in a good way. Like, you know, I like that. So, sure enough, after, you know, we went to work that whole next week leading into, where did we just race? Detroit.
Yeah.
Had a, you know, great day. Almost won the heat. And then I think
you
7
did.
in the main. Yeah. Yeah. No, the heat race was sick. Like, whole shot, me and Dudney and Davies behind me, like, we're going at it. And it was just 1, 2, 3 the whole time. There wasn't really any back and forth. And like, I'm focusing on Dudney, and I'm like, all right, look up, 45 seconds left, 2 laps. I gotta make this happen now. And dude, he just destroys himself in the whoops. And I was like,
dude,
it was one of those where I'm like, I was like, oh my God, is he good? And it was kind of one of those when I got into the lead, I was like, I didn't expect myself to get in the lead like that. So it kind of threw me for a loop. And dude, we had Davies on ice. Like, he was 2, 3 seconds behind us, and I missed the rhythm and just handed it to him. So like, same thing. My dad comes back. Mitch comes there. Like, you know, Mitch is bummed I threw it away, but he's happy that I got second. And
it's good progress. Second race.
Yeah, he rode like myself. And my dad's stoked, and I'm like pissed. I just threw that heat win, you know? And then same thing, like in the main, rode great, came through the pack, had 5th place on my fingertips, you know, and I just couldn't get to him. And then made another bonehead mistake, and Daxton got me late. But yeah, like, and then same thing. He's like, what happened? Mitch, that is, what happened? Yeah, decent night, but could have been better. You know, we got work to do. He's like, all right, sick. I like that. And that's it. Rolls away. So, yeah, it's mellow, but I like it.
Yeah, it's funny, eh? Like, I can see how the Star environment is just sink or swim.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like some guys respond well to that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, some guys respond well and some guys don't.
Yeah.
And there's probably a lot of factors that play into like someone's ability to be able to handle that situation.
Yeah.
You know, like I think about, growing up playing football, growing up doing like martial arts, like actually fighting people.
You got to
like,
have a lot of luck involved too.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of luck.
Yeah.
Like a lot of luck, you know?
But Dax, like you look at Dax, I mean, he comes from like a super nice family with really nice parents that have always probably fucking really loved him and really cared for him and never had somebody talk to him like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you were lucky enough to have like a good childhood in that sense, maybe that doesn't prepare you the best for that.
I think too,
situation.
It just go like, there's just so many things that we can unpack about this literally for hours, like I say, but like same thing, like my rookie year, you know, I had a girlfriend at the time, and Jay Coop's got the girlfriend, Nate's got his girlfriend, and I think who else was it? Levi had his girlfriend. Like everyone's got a girlfriend at the time. Bobby comes in one day, from here on out, no girlfriends here, no dad, no mom, everyone in the hospitality. So now I'm here on race day. I can't even talk to my dad, you know? And it's like, me and my dad started from the bottom, you know? Like, and same thing with Dax and Levi's. And we're all sitting there like, Jesus Christ. It's like, oh my God, dude. That's just how it was,
Yeah. But again, how many dads are in college football locker rooms?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I know.
It's like, he's just, there's a style. And again, some people.
That's what he comes from,
Yes.
College. In the 80s, 90s, I don't even know how, when
fucking
he was there.
60s, bro. So, but there was a time where like, those scrimmage motos and like, that's iron sharpening iron right there. Like that's
there were some fun days, dude.
I bet.
Some fun days. Like when it was like that year when it was me, Jay Coop, Levi, LeBlanc, Nate, I don't even know who was 450 at the time, but just that handful of crew right there, like those are all some of my best friends, you know, like, dude, we had some fun days, whether that was on the track, off the track, dinner bands, like whatever. I mean, you know how the locker room is there, like. Yeah,
literally a locker room.
Yeah. So, some fun days, and you good and bad, you know, you learn from it, take the good with you and leave the bad in the past. That's what I've done, you know, so.
So then you go to Phoenix Honda. Mm-hmm. And how is that?
Different.
Yeah.
That was one thing too I took for granted when I was on Star was like, you show up to the track, you know, like just A to Z. So whenever that happened, I go back from Tally, go to my place facility. I'm thinking, all right, I got to hire my practice mechanic. I got to hire my trainer, write the program. All I got to do is focus on me. That's it, me. Not the case. I'm
Nah,
out there.
bruh.
I'm out there doing tractor work, skiddy. Next thing you know, it's 10 p.m. I'm watering the track. Wake up at 6.
Haven't
more water.
stretched, haven't
Haven't
hydrated.
done it. I haven't even ate breakfast. Next thing you know, I'm like, dude, the boys are gonna be here in 20 minutes. Just different. It took me a year to, not even a year, like a couple months in the beginning of the off season to learn it, and then there you go. I'm on a new team, new members. Like all the guys at Star, I don't really know who's there. I know like Kent, like he was my mechanic, and like Peanut, a couple of those guys that are OGs. I don't really know the team now, but like when I was there, dude, we were all family. You know, like we eat, sleep, breathe this shit together. So, it was different, man. Like I said, it took me a long time to figure out, and it was a different bike, different suspension, guys, different. I go from air to spring. I'm going from a Yamaha, just you name it, everything. Different team owner, different this, different training, different everything. So I figured it out all pretty quick, I'd say. I had actually a sick off season leading into 25. Yeah, leading into 2025 Supercross, and I was doing East, and then go to the opener. And that was Tampa, the ones with the gnarly whoops, bro. Like that got Pierce, Chase, Tom, me. So yeah.
That track got Tomac. Got
Hunter. Yeah, like that track, bro. There was demons over us that night,
track.
that whole day. Literally.
You know what's crazy, dude? So I said to Griff, one of my boys that works with me, he was staying at mine, we were watching it. From the fucking first laps I saw, I was like, dude, I hate this track. Yeah. It had zero flow. Nothing flowed at all. I watched the first 450 practice, and I was like, this track fucking sucks. Yeah. And then I went somewhere. Oh, I watched Nixon compete in jiu-jitsu.
At Tampa?
No. I wasn't at the race. I was here.
Okay.
But then I went to watch him compete.
Okay.
And so then people just start texting me like, dude, Tomac, no. So I was like, fuck.
Yeah. Missing.
This just looked shit. This track, and dude, that was a fucking
honestly,
hectic night.
Like it was. Like I don't think many people have spoken about it. At least I haven't seen or whatever. But like, dude, from press day, I was like, something's wrong. Like, dude, the track. I don't know if it was. I'm not blaming anything on anyone, but I don't know if it was the track people or the dirt or the vibe. Like I don't know, dude. But straight from press day, I'm like, it's gonna be a long day tomorrow. But whatever. Wake up, put it behind me, and then sure enough, and that was when they still had free practice. I say still, it was literally last year because they got rid of free. But yeah, ride free practice, good. First practice of the year, I think I was like 8, stoked on it, team stoked, whatever. Go out in Q1. Dude, those whoops, because I think it was like
It was a triple.
It was a 2-3, or you can go inside roll 2-2. Yeah. But there was like no run up. It was like you land off the, like your bike's compressing, and then before it's even unloading, like it's already the wheel. And those things were massive, bro. No starter, just walls. And like, dude, it got
after a fast like triple section.
Yeah. A 3-3 into like something really tight. Yeah. But yeah, I got whiskey in those, and then like I dropped and I almost saved it, and like I skimmed a couple like kind of feet off, and then down my leg, same thing, meniscus. I'm like, knew right away. You feel that pop. I don't know if torn a meniscus or not, but it's gnarly.
I probably have.
You just
never got
a knee
checked.
pop. You're like, yeah, get up. Had like 2 laps left. I'm dogging it through, whatever. Get back to the rig, sit down, like just stuck. Yeah, because the meniscus is what what keeps the forward to back. Knees stuck. I'm like, God damn it, dude. Sure enough, can't get up. Like I can't. My knee's stuck, so I get carried up. Same thing, dude. Blah, 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 whatever. Get out of there. Go literally from the stadium to the MRI room. Got in. Meniscus is cooked. I'm like, all right. Well, there goes Tampa at least, you know. And I had if people know about a meniscus there, I had a bucket handle, which is exactly.
So it's like it kind of can and can't catch at the same time.
It just flips. Yeah. Your meniscus flips. So say if it's supposed to be like that, it's literally whoop. Yeah. So.
And it catches the joint.
It catches,
so it'll literally lock out.
It'll literally lock up. Yeah. So, and I went through that before. So I'm like, all right, I know what the deal is, whatever. I'm just going to get the MRI. I saw the results, whatever. And I think round 2 was Detroit that year, the one Levi won. And I don't really know what the hell I was thinking, to be honest with you. I was on crutches the whole time, and the whole week, whatever, like literally on crutches. I couldn't even bend my knee, bro.
And you tried to race.
I'm like, fuck it. Because I was one of those, like, I was on such a redemption tour. Like, I got boned at Star, and like, it was one of those where like, I'm like, I'm doing this. I don't care. I didn't care if I couldn't walk. Showed up on crutches. I got this like I got this like NFL like brace on my knee. Dude, this thing is massive. I can't even feel the bike. Qualified for the night show, I don't remember. And then tried to race. I couldn't do it, dude. Couldn't do it. Like, I got tore it all shot, you name it. Couldn't do it. So I was like, all right, won't go home. Made a decision to not get my knee fixed, which I think looking back, probably a bad move. But I was just in that headspace where I'm like, we're figuring this out. So sure enough, I took like a month or so. I don't even know. Took some time off the bike. Get back on the bike. I think it was a couple months, maybe a month or two, whatever. Get back on the bike. Start focusing on outdoors. Knee was okay. Like, could moto, whatever. Outdoors, all good. Yeah. A lot of bike problems. That's all I'm going to say. Just a lot of bike problems. Trying to get ready for my prep for Paula in the summer. So I think I came in Paula with like my longest moto was like 20 minutes.
Oh, so those wouldn't even last.
Yeah, I was doing a couple laps at a time. Like, just shit that you just like, I'm like, bro, this is the last thing I need.
Yeah.
I don't know whose fault it was. I'm
Privateer
not gonna blame
250
anyone.
ain't it.
It's just what it was. So dealt with it. Showed up to Paula. Was I in the greatest headspace? No. I can say it. Not at all. But I'm like, I'm going to show up and see what I can do. Ride press day. I'm on the race bike. It's actually the first day I didn't have a problem was press day at Paula. So I think it was like a 20.
Is this like full blow-ups or just like things that would stop you from riding?
Blow up, bike shut off, like just shit that you don't want happening, you know, when you're fifth gear everywhere. But whatever, show up and race bike was good. Shook it down. Like, yeah, all good, whatever. And then, dude, literally, like on Star in the summer, Bobby's big thing was like catch a tow with one of your boys, you know, whatever. So we would always do laps together, like just like at the practice track. So whatever is my first outdoor not on Star, on Honda. And I don't know who I caught a tow with. It was either Dax or Deegs. I can't remember. But whatever, catch a tow with him, ripping the lap. I'm like, oh, this is sick ass lap. Dude, come into a turn and like front starts pushing and it just like threw me like that. And I landed on my shoulder, like in the back of my shoulder, dislocated it. Dude, and that was the first time I dislocated it. So I'm like, holy, like, dude, this like, actually, my arm was stuck up here. I dislocated it like, it was like a pretty decent dislocation. So I'm stuck like this, laying on the ground. I'm scared. That shit hurt, dude.
Yeah, it's fucked, eh?
Whatever, Alpine Star Medical comes over, we get it back in. And I hear these stories. Oh, yeah, dislocated. Get it in quick. You're good, dude. I'm like, oh, sick. That's what I'm thinking. Like, all right, let's go. Like, get the Toradol shot. Have my guy wrap it up. I look at my mom. She's at the race. So I'm like, I don't know about this, you know? And I'm like.
The first one's the worst one,
yeah.
too. Because once it, like.
Yeah.
That's the.
It just swelled up so much in, like 20, 30 minutes. And I'm like. She's like, well, if you can't do it, don't do it. I'm like, all right, sit on my bike. I'm like, yeah, I can't do this. Can't do this. And that's when I just had a breakdown, dude. Like straight up breakdown. Because all the work, like my whole life, I'm just like, dude, this is BS. Like whatever. So dealt with that. Go back to my knee. I never got that fixed. So I got scans on my shoulder and I always like to see a couple doctors just to get opinions because
smart man.
Whatever. And that's typically I go 3 to 4. Everyone's like, yeah, your meniscus is cooked. I'm like, yeah, I know that. My shoulder. Tell me about that. And saw 4. 3 of them said surgery. 1 said no. So that's all I needed to hear. Called up G. He's like, hey, I'm getting my knee fixed. This happened to my shoulder. I said, I'm coming out there. And I'm going to stay out there all summer as long as you need me or want me, and let's get to work. He's like, yeah, come out, buddy. So booked a flight after surgery. Came out here. Dude, it's actually funny because so me and Ryder D we've had this whatever through the amateur career, never spoke to each other, and it really wasn't us. It was more so our parents, but... Mm-hmm. And this is off topic. I'll get back to what I was saying.
Yeah. We're good.
But Pierce Brown, one of my day ones, 2024 Hangtown, where you know how some teams are just somehow in the same hotels.
Yeah.
Calls me up, yo, you in this hotel? Yeah, whatever. He's like, all right, let's get dinner like 30. Bet. Just me that weekend, or at least that day. he's like on this side and I'm on this side, and the front is right where the mic is. So I come down the elevator, hit the right elevator. I see Pierce, and then behind him I see Ryder D. And I'm like, this motherfucker set me up, dude. Which I don't care. Like, I can get down with anyone, you know? Like, I have a lot of friends throughout the industry, non-industry, like, whatever. I'm cool with it. And I'm like, I look at Ryder, I'm like, you hitting dinner with us? He's like, yeah. And he's all, like, uptight, whatever. I'm like, all right, whatever, bro. Chill. Like, we're just getting dinner. Like, it's cool. We get dinner. And you could tell he was tight. And, like, dude, I'm not one to hold grudges or whatever.
Well, it wasn't even you guys.
That's what I'm saying,
right?
bro.
Yeah.
Like, we just didn't speak because of what other stuff. Like, whatever. Sure enough, we get dinner, dude. And it went well. It went well, whatever. I banted, and I can get along with anyone. Whatever. Like, easy. Pierce is giggling the whole fucking time, dude. Like, it was unreal. And we get dinner, and we actually... we got back, and we actually all kicked it for a little bit that night because it was Thursday before press.
Did you break down any fucking past trauma?
Nah, not really. We really just banted, like, in the moment, you know? And so whatever. That's how me and Ryder became cool after
15 years.
16 years. Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
And we maybe said one thing to each other. I remember it was at Ponca, and he, like, it was like me. We were watching Ponca City. Me, some kid, him. Actually, on he was like, yo, did you get with someone? I'm like, yeah, did you? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, sick. And that was it.
So just Eskimo bros, and then that's it.
Yeah, basically. And I was like, okay, that was random, but whatever. We got to race each other in 30 minutes. So that's the Hangtown story is how me and Ryder became friends. So anyways, whenever I had to figure out plans to come out here, because I've been to G, I saw him time to time, whatever. And then I called Ryder out of the blue. I'm like, dog, I need a room. Like, what do you got for me? He's like,
no way.
Yeah. He's like, I got you. I was like, I got an extra room. No one's here. It's just me. Bet. You got a whip? Maybe. I'm like, all right, we can work with this. He's like, I would just call my dad a couple days later. Yeah, my dad's truck's out front. He says you can drive it. I'm like, dude, thank God. Like, we are set. We're lit. And then, sure enough, like, flight was booked because I was coming out here regardless, dude. If I had to sleep on the street, it wasn't one of those modes where I was like, we got to get the body right. We got to do it. So he hooked it all up, housed, and he's right here in Costa Mesa off 17th. So, like, as you can imagine, dude, I'm beachside, Newport, G's, like, that's when I started working with Joe Cancelleri off the bike. And
pussy everywhere.
Yeah.
Lito's just
A to Z,
coming in hot every weekend. Yeah.
Paul Mia's, you name it. So, it was good. And
that's when Nick Romano got a wrap around Newport. This was the period.
Dude, no, but it went well, and I did therapy I think I was out here for about a month and a half. I think my knee took like 4 weeks, and then I stayed a little bit longer to do my shoulder, and dude, everything went well. And actually, that's when PB was recovering from his back. And like I said, one of my dogs, I call him up. I'm like, bro, what are you doing in Tallahassee? Like, come out here. Like, let's get to work. Like, CG, it's what you need. You could start working with Joe if they allow that, which they did. Like, bro, let's bust our ass together. Like, and then have fun, you know? And that's what we did. He came out here, and he figured out his pad, and he ended up staying. His chick's from Canyon Lake, so he's bouncing back and forth with me and me, Ryder, and then his chick and whatever. And, like, dude, that whole month, sickest summer ever. Like, obviously, I wanted to be racing, right? But you got to just enjoy. But
those are good days.
Those are good days, like, straight up. You make memories, and it was me, PB, and my other buddy Blake, who lives out here, one of my other dogs. Like, just we had a good crew, fun times. We did what we came here to do, and then we enjoyed the Newport life. So. It was good. Shout out PB if you're watching this. We've had some fun times for sure.
Dude, yeah. I mean, I could see that being a fucking dope summer.
Yeah, it was. It was a good time.
Just locking in with the boys.
Dude, it was literally like wake up 5 a.m., hit G's. You're typically there for an hour to 2 hours. They're kind of busy in the morning. Hit breakfast, hit Joe's gym. We were on beach cruiser, dude, just beach cruising around. Beach cruiser, breakfast, hit Joe's, 2 hours in there, dogging it out. Lunch, round whatever that was, 1, 2, back to G's for 2 hours. Next thing you know, it's dinner time. In the week, that's it. And then weekends, we beach or kick it, nice dinners, whatever. So, fun time.
That is a cool time. Yeah, if you've got to go through rehab, you might as well.
You got to enjoy it.
But, I mean, that's what Jet's been doing out here.
Yeah.
Just live.
I mean, Jet could do Jet things.
Jet
Like,
can
let's
do-
be
Jet
honest.
can
Dude,
do
I
whatever
saw
he
his
wants,
lip
but-
the other day.
Oh, the new Ferrari.
Dude,
Yeah, it's pretty bad, eh?
badass.
I met the fucking guy who sold it to him
Really?
at MotoGP on the weekend.
That's sick.
That's a fucking. You think Jet's a badass?
Who is it?
Just a guy that owns like fucking 33 Ferrari
Really?
dealerships.
Tell him I need one. And you.
Bro, I was like,
Yeah.
this is impressive,
Yeah.
dog. Like, it was, cool.
Nah, good
fucking
time,
guy.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's on the same program. Just
Yeah.
out here doing
Yeah.
the rehab, doing the work,
Well, and like
enjoying it.
for me, I've obviously worked with a couple different doctors or whatever, and like shout out Dr. G. Like, you've had him on here. Like, I mean, a lot of people work with him. Like, people go to him and use him for a reason. Like, he's got what you want. So his handwork is just second to none, and he's obviously got the tools and all that. So
And he just cares.
he cares.
Like,
yeah.
he fully
Like, he's at the point
understands.
in his career where he's told me, he's like, dude, I work on your moto guys because I want to. He's like, I can pick and choose, and like the guys I have, he's like, I respect you guys. I enjoy working with you guys,
bro,
and that's that.
G is rich.
Yeah, I
Like,
can see it.
He don't have to work. Like, he's like a very
Yeah.
smart businessman outside of what he does.
Yeah, he is.
And
He
I
is.
fucking love that about people that, like, he could be just on Newport Beach every day, just chilling.
Yeah.
But
does it for the love
he,
of the game.
he literally does it because he loves his clients and he loves the people and he loves the sport. And man, those guys make the fucking world go around,
Yeah, for sure they do.
So yeah, you get through that summer, that
Yep.
period.
Yep.
So then what's next in your career from there?
So this was last summer, so I had nothing planned really. Like, I knew I was probably going to be cooked from not racing all year, right?
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, it's kind of my redemption year. I was like, I'm giving it everything, and it just completely went to shit. So at that time, dude, I really wasn't even thinking about dirt bikes. Like, I enjoyed my life. I got myself healthy. I got my mind back. I got my body back. Like, dude, I had a lot of just injuries and whatever.
How old are
like,
you now?
Just turned 21.
Dad.
Yeah. Just turned 21 a couple weeks ago. 21st birthday was actually day one on the PC bike. So
Happy birthday.
yeah,
bro.
dude. It was lit. It was sick. But
But
yeah.
that's a lot of injuries to have
Yeah.
as a 21-year-old kid.
For sure, yeah.
To literally have your career at 21 taken away by
Yeah.
injuries.
Yeah. So it was tough. But luckily, like, I don't even know if it's luckily or what, but like, all my homies are older. Like, whether that's the moto guys like Levi, Nate, Pierce, or whatever. And then you got like my homies from home that are 25, 30. Like, I don't know. Just like the chicks I talk to, my boys I hang out with, everyone's older. So I've always been in that environment to where, I mean, I can't be a young idiot in this group. They're not going to like me, right? And I just kind of listen and observe. And next thing you know, that takes you here and that takes you there. So, like, I feel like I am more mature than just the average 21-year-old, which I think a lot of moto people, like, they grow up quick because you kind of have to, right? But
Yeah, well, it definitely, I mean, you've made money.
Yeah.
You've fucking got crazy injuries.
Yeah.
You've been sacked from not sacked, but
Yeah.
not renewed with the best
Yeah.
team in the Like, there's a lot that's going on in this, like, short career
For
from
sure.
a 17-year-old
For
kid.
sure, yeah. So, like, it was a lot. So like I said, I came out here and that was kind of where, like, I just enjoyed it, dude. Like, I did what I had to do for my body and my sake. And then we just had a good time, and kind of Pierce was in that same boat, and we just enjoyed it. And after that trip was over, went back to Florida, which is, home. And I think I got back. I got back home like the week of Vegas SMX. So, like, I had missed all summer, obviously no SMX racing, and I got back home the week leading up to Vegas SMX. So at that point, Phoenix guys had come down, grabbed Dylan's bikes, grabbed my bikes, grabbed Park's bikes. So I don't even have a dirt bike, dude. First time in my life. I come home and I'm like, I didn't even think of it. I'm like, holy dude. I'm like, oh my God. Like, seriously, I was mind blown. So I'm like, all right, well, whatever. I still have some trips planned because, again, off season at that point, like, everyone, like, we had a Hawaii trip planned with the boys, and I had a couple weddings I had to go to. So I'm like, whatever, I'll figure it out when I have to. So went back home, and I can't remember. I think Jason or Kenny. They were like, yo, like there's a stock Suzuki in there if you want to ride it. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, I don't know. I was just like, nah, I'm good. Whatever. And then I can't remember when it was. I think I had the weddings. And then, yeah, it was LeBlanc's wedding, actually. And then Rarick's wedding. They were like back to back. And I obviously had been training a little, like when I started training with Joe. So I stayed on the off the bike stuff. And Kauai trip was planned. And I was trying to get something going for World Supercross. Because I'm like, all right, well, I just missed all year here. At least let me get a head start.
I think that'd be a good fit for you.
Yeah, I'd love to race it at some point. You know, I know their schedule is hectic and all that, and in the moment, I'm trying to figure out shit for me here. But like, I would love to race World Supercross. I think it's only a positive. You get paid, get to travel the world. Like, sick, you know. But anyways, went to Kauai, and it was me, Levi, Pierce, Crockett, and all their chicks. I'm single, so it's them, the boys, and then all the girls. And
then whatever you drag back home.
Yeah, whatever it is. So, yeah, we go to Kauai, and, like, I just remember going there, and, like, obviously I'd gone home. I see the no dirt bike thing, and, like, I'm tripping a little bit because I'm like, well, this might be it.
You're like, am I a dirt bike racer?
Yeah, I'm like, hey, this might be it, you know? And PB, like, PB fucking same, like, obviously he had a contract, but he's like, he was still bummed about his back, and Levi didn't have a great year and whatever. It was just like, we all went out there. We had the times of our lives. We were out there for 3 weeks. Like, we put the phone away. Bro, we just enjoyed life. Like, shout out to the Kauai boys, Campbell, Ryder, Cannon, all the, like, I made lifelong friends just from that trip. And, like, dude, surfed and, like, went on, like, just, like, Kauai things, you know, we're on an island. It's first time on an island.
It's pretty dope,
like,
huh?
Dude, crazy. Like, where they did the Sexton shoot, all that. Bro, saw all that. Like, it's, you know, the island from the top to bottom is probably like an hour and a half drive, and the speed limit's like 30, you know, 40.
I did that Dream Ride shoot there.
Oh, really?
Remember with with Malcolm and
I think we watched that when we were on the island.
Yeah, that was in Kauai. Dude.
Yeah.
You know, like the Kong Head, like that mountain. I was just sort of driving up to, like, Honolulu.
Yep.
It's like kind of before you start the Honolulu drive. It was like up there.
Yeah. No, it was dope. Like,
I was there for a month doing that, or like probably 2 months in total. Like 1 month before it and 1 month during it.
Yeah.
I was fucking loose.
No,
bro.
it's dude, Honolulu and like North Shore, Kauai is just sick, dude. Kauai. So, like I said, we had a time of our lives and just enjoyed the trip. And
one of my best friends married Alana Blanchard. You know who that chick is? She was like a famous surfer.
Really?
She was like, remember?
I'm sure the boys from out there do.
Everyone knows her. Yeah. She remember like back in GoPro's heyday. She was like the GoPro surf chick.
Maybe.
Blonde chick.
Maybe.
Anyway, so
I feel like now the name's pondering a little bit. I've probably seen her stuff.
You definitely have.
For
but
sure.
So one of my best friends married her, so he lives on Kauai.
That's sick.
Like, so they live over there.
Sick.
I haven't got to go there since.
I'm sure those boys know them, but like, dude, just
for sure. Yeah.
met so many people, and like I said, my boys, and like met Lindy Irons, like Andy Irons' wife, and like really, like I didn't know anything about surfing going in there. Like, I'm just, you know, city boy, whatever. I don't surf.
Queens, son.
Yeah, Queens. That's it. So like, learn the whole surfing world, and like Andy Irons and his brother Bruce, and like, just cool, dude. Just dope vibes and fun time, and like that's an annual trip for Levi, and I think me, Pierce, Crockett, like we're going back every year at least if we can. So yeah, good times. And like I said, after that trip, it was like, all right, boys are going back to work and I'm coming home to nothing, right? I see Levi and PB starting boot camp and riding and getting ready for this year. And I'm just like, all right, I got to figure this out now, like yesterday, you know? So end up, I was thinking, I was like, do I just like, because again, it's the first time in my life, I don't have a dirt bike. Like, you know,
it's a weird feeling, bro.
Dude, I normally
I trip out if I don't have bikes in the shed.
Like, I have these things taken care of for me. So I remember going home, and for like a couple days, I think I actually went back to New York with my family and parents, whatever. So I was like sitting there, and they're like, "What do you want to do? Like, what's the deal?" And I'm just like, "I'm figuring this out." Like, and I was pretty stubborn at the time. Like, I was, pissed off, all the above, right? So, figured that out, and I called up Joe, my trainer, and I'm like, "Hey, look, like, I want to come out to California, and I don't know what I'm doing, but like, I want to come out and I want to do a fucking sick boot camp with you. I don't care what you like, whatever you want me to do for a month. Like that was just like a month, whatever. Because I was like, in my head, if I get things going, let's focus on East Coast, whatever. I'm located in Florida, like it'll be easy. So I didn't even think about West Coast. So this was like, I don't even know. I guess November-ish or whatever. November, September. Come out here and just went to work. Luckily, shout out to Colt. Stayed at his house. He took me in like family. Stayed at him in Marietta off Clint Keith and figured out a car again. And same thing, dude. Just wake up. He had an extra road bike for me, so like I had that covered. It just things were working out again, you know, in my favor. And dude, me and Joe, we went to work like because I wasn't out of shape, but like I'd missed all of riding, and you know how it is like when you're the riding fitness to the whatever. So like I wasn't fat, but I was fat. Like I was definitely overweight, and came out here and just busted my butt, dude. Like I spoke about it before. Like I kind of got into like a Goggins mode. Like I didn't know what I was doing, but I'm like, I got to do this shit for me, whatever that is. So I put my head down. We went to work, and one thing led into another, and somehow ended up at Mitch Payton's office. I can't remember. It was all like that whole time was like a blur to me, honestly. Mm-hmm. But somehow ended up at Mitch's, and you know, we've had a friendship throughout the years because even on Kawasaki and like when I made the switch to Husky 85s back in the day, he built my engines and gave me pipes and like, you know, whatever. So we've always been cool. And I think it was probably Colt. We were just kicking it. And he was like, bro, what are you doing? Because I was getting calls from, you know, this team, that team, satellite teams like, hey, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, yeah, I'll let you know, whatever. Like, because I really didn't want to go through that again. Like the problems I had, it was just, wasn't worth it to me. You know, I escaped death a couple times, I think. And I was like, I'm good. Like, just keep it, give it to someone else. So, Colt was like, bro, like you got to do something. Like you're out here in SoCal, you're around all these teams, go show up to these offices. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, actually. Because I was so like, I'm so used to just being stuck in Florida to where it's just work, you know, you don't have all the corporations and shops and all that around you. So yeah, made a couple phone calls and this guy wouldn't answer. And, you know, in that time, these like the Mitches and Ramseys and, you know, these guys ain't answering you.
The stock's pretty low.
The stock's low.
The roster's pretty full.
Exactly. So that led me to Mitch's and walked in there. And, dude, I'm shitting bricks. Like, because who am I to walk in there and say, hey, give me a bike? Like, you know? But I did it. And one conversation led to the next. And then, you know, I found myself showing up there some days twice a day. Like I'd show up to his shop on my way to Newport to see Joe. On the way back, I'm like, why not? What am I going to lose? Stop in here for an hour, you know? Even like he wouldn't talk to me every time, but I'd show up and walk in there like I owned it, you know? And some of the mechanics, like they're side-eyeing me, and I'm just like, it makes you feel, honestly, not a piece of shit, but you're just like...
Yeah, it's humbling.
It's humbling. Yeah, it really is humbling. And
sometimes that's good for a 21-year-old.
Yeah. So, like I said, that whole month I was out here doing it, and, you know, my month was up, and I was starting to become fit again, and I went in there that last time, and I'm like, so, can you give me a dirt bike or not? And he's like, I can't yet. He's like, I got some figuring out to do, but he did tell me to my face, he said, if we can pull a fifth rider, you're going to be it. That's all I needed to hear. He says, well, do you have a dirt bike? And I said, no, Mitch, I'm out here. I don't have a dirt bike. You know that. And Mitch is kind of like, now knowing him, I think he kind of plays it off like he doesn't know a lot of stuff.
Bro, he played the shit out of you.
Bro,
dude.
He knows everything.
Yeah, dude.
But, yeah, so I'm like, he was like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'll probably just go home, buy a bike from a dealership, figure it out, you know? Because I'm the type of dude, just wake up, go, figure it out as I go. And he's like, no, you ain't doing that. Like, I got 3 450s in the showroom that are all ridden. Like, they've been used. But he's like, go pick one. Pick the one with the lowest amount of hours. I'm like, yeah, I want this one. He's like, all right, what do you want on it? I'm like, I don't know, suspension. Probably suspension would help me a lot. He's like, Supercross or motocross? And I'm like, no, motocross. Like, I haven't ridden who knows how long at that point. I'm like, yeah, motocross. And it's a 450. So anyways, long story short, dude, he put like a pipe on it, bars, ECU, high compression piston, Hinson clutch, suspension. Like, I dialed the biking for me. And I get it, and it was actually funny because it was supposed to ship to Sandbox, but it shipped to Dog Pound somehow. So Jacob Martin, Seth's
Well, because
mechanic.
they're already
They're already
probably 'cause
there. He
they're already
calls
there,
me, and I'm working out, dude. Like mid-suffer, I'm like, my phone, Garmin's connected to my phone, and I'm
Shout
like,
out Garmin.
shit, Garmin's sick. And he's like, yo, did you buy a bike for Mitch? I'm like, yeah. Why? How do you know? What? He's like, yeah, showed up to Dog Pound. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to keep this all like low key, you know? I'm like, dude.
yeah.
I'm like, bro, yeah. He's like, yeah, that's mine. He's like, all
Yeah,
right.
I bought it.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's mine. He's like, shout out Pee Wee Jacob. He's known him forever. He's like, you want me to build it for you? I'm like, yes, please. He's like, all right, come by at like 6 p.m. to the house. I'll have it ready. Go
What
over.
a fucking G.
Yeah. Shout out Pee Wee for real.
Love that.
Go up to the house, dude. Bike's ready. He gives me some extra stuff that he
He's
probably
winning
shouldn't.
Instagram, by the way.
Dude, unreal. That Deegan's video.
Bro. Winning
That was
Instagram.
unreal, dude. So yeah, he like gives me a couple things that he probably shouldn't have given me, but some extra parts, and I'm like, dude, thank you, bro. Like this will at least get me through the next 2 weeks, you know. And again, I'm on the loosest, I'm on the loosest bike program you could physically be on. And shout out to Connor as well. He's my roommate, or he lives in my house, in my guest house. Like he was Levi's mechanic on Star, like pro mechanic. Like he's badass. I think probably every team in the pits has tried to hire him, but he's just happy with what he's doing now. And thank God I had him at the house, bro. Because like Mitch ended up after a couple weeks on moto. You know, I'm still calling him like, oh, I'm like, Mitch, I'm back, I'm riding, you know, and he ain't answering. I'm like, dude, I just want to speak, bro. Like, I just want to speak. And my agent, Jimmy Button, like, I'm calling him. And I'm like, dude, call Mitch. Like, tell him I'm riding. I'm good. Get me on the bike. Like, I'm ready for a tryout day. And that just was not the case. So anyways, after a couple weeks, I realized, like, it ain't going to be that easy. And I'm like, all right, well, I just remembered. He's like, if we can get a 5th bike, like, you're going to be the guy. And I ran with that straight up. And week after week after week, I'm putting in massive days on the 450 outdoors. And then I'm like, all right.
How'd you feel on it?
Good. Like at first, bro, I missed 4 or 5 months off the bike. I was rusty as hell, but felt good on it. Like you get your bearings back pretty quick, and then the cardio and fitness and all that comes with it. But like I felt good. I was ripping. You know, I had good suspension on the bike, kept me safe, and luckily I had Connor and like Real Deal Rob, Levi's guy, that could at least look over the bike if I needed anything crazy. But I was showing up doing, you know, my own bolt check and filter oil, this, that, like whatever I could physically do, I was doing. And then, dude, I can't remember if it was somehow 8-kit Supercross suspension showed up to my house with clamps, Pro Circuit clamps. I opened it. I'm like, I was like, what? Who did that? I call Mitch and I'm like, hey, and he answers. He know, you know.
Yeah, he knew.
He answers. I'm like, hey, did you send me 8-kit suspension for my 450? He's like, yeah, I did, buddy. And I was like, can I keep it? He says, no, but you can use it until, you know, your time's up with it. I'm like, hell yeah, thank you. Get Connor. It's like 9 p.m., dude. He banging on his door. He's locked because he's big 3D printer making shit. I'm like, we're putting this on right now. He's like, all right, bet. So we throw the clamps on, fork shock, whatever. Dude, this thing is so stiff. I'm like, holy, all right, whatever. So wake up next day, Supercross. I'm like, it was Supercross. And this was right around January 1st this year. So like I had about a month on outdoors.
Yeah.
And then, got on Supercross too. And this whole time I had no plan. Like, obviously, I had satellite teams still calling me, and I'm putting in my dues at whatever I have to do, right? And Jimmy's doing his thing. And, you know, shout out to Levi. Like, you know, Levi and Mitch, they're close. And he, you know, he wasn't helping me.
He's telling Mitch, like.
Yeah, he's like, hey, like, Nick's doing this shit, just so you know. And then Rob, you know, here and there, he's like, hey, just so you know, because, you know, those are my guys, and, you know, they look out for me. So
yeah, that Mitch is basically like, how's Romano looking?
Exactly.
And he's like,
and when one of the meetings, he was like, well, where are you gonna ride in Florida? I'm like, oh, my place or Sandbox. At the moment, I didn't know, but he wanted eyes on me. So, yeah, it just so happened to work out, like I said. And Levi, he wasn't helping me, but I mean, dude, I show up to Levi's house, no call. Like, we're boys like that, whatever. He can come to mine. I would just show up at his house, walk in. I'd be like, yo, what are you doing? Whatever he's doing, playing games or TV, whatever. And there was a couple times where I'm like, anything? Yeah, anything, dude? Yeah. Like, come on. And this is like race week for Anaheim 1. He's like, no, bro. I'm like, all right. And there were so many of those times where there was like the smallest hope, but there was nothing. You know, I'd open the door and maybe I saw a crack of light, open the door, pitch black. I'm like, whatever. But those little times just kept me motivated. And like I said, through that whole December to February, like those 2 months I had on Supercross, I think I bought the bike with like 15 or 20 hours on it.
Oh, so you bought it?
I bought the bike, yeah. I bought the bike from Mitch. He hooked me up. Like,
so you bought the bike and then he did the rest?
He did the rest, yeah. I think he only made me pay for the clutch.
I fucking love that, dude.
That's what Bobby ain't doing that. That's the different aura, is where I was trying to get at with it, you know? But I love Bobby. I love Mitch, but.
So I called Mitch. So I've got this build video coming out and it's got a factory PC pipe on it.
Like the carbon one?
Yeah, with like the carbon cut, like you can't get it.
Yeah.
And it's it's a factory piece. Like they only make it for a specific team.
Yeah.
Like it's a very special part, right? And so I'm in Australia and I just FaceTime him and I'm like on camera and I'm like, I'm just going to ask him. He can tell me no and we're fine. But if this clip, if this hits, it's legendary.
Yeah.
And so I'm calling him. He's like, where are you?
He answered the FaceTime?
I'm like telling him where I'm at.
Gee, yeah.
And then he's like, what are you doing there? And I was telling him about it. And I was like, I need a pipe. But they only have the factory pipes here.
Yeah.
Can I have a factory pipe? I was like, I won't sell it. It'll never leave the family.
Yeah.
If I get rid of the bike, it can go back to you.
Yeah.
I just need this pipe. And he's like, such and such it. And I was like, yeah. He's like, then I'm cool with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just like,
yeah.
you are so fucking cool, dude. You are so
cool like
fucking
that,
cool.
Dude. Like, and it just goes back. I've been out here for a couple weeks now, and his wife and dude, like, they're just family. Like, I'm staying at his other house, which is across the street, and like, dude, go over there for dinner. And actually, I was over there for dinner last night, and you know, they were like, "Oh, what do you do tomorrow?" Whatever. I'm like, "Oh, I got to ride and hit G's, and then I'm out doing the Gypsy podcast." And his wife is like, "Oh, he's been wanting to do that, or you've been wanting him." And I'm like, "Show up with me." And he like thought about it for a little bit. Like, he had some beers in him. He thought about it. And I was like, dude, if you show up with me, like,
that would be
legendary, be lit. Yeah. Bro. And he really thought about it. I was like, come on, Mitch, let's do it. And then he was like, nah, I got too much shit to do tomorrow.
That's so funny.
But I tried. I gave it my best. But like, yeah, Mitch is awesome, dude. And he just, like I said, he had my back. Like, even though he didn't know, and he would call me or ask me, he's like, what if you don't get a spot on my team? Like, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I put my mind to his bike from the start, and I wasn't gonna stop until I got it. I don't care how I got it. You know, I've seen social media and stuff. He feeling whatever. Like, I'm here to stay. You know, I'm here to bust my ass and stay. And you know, it's only been 2 races, and there's been significant progress from Birmingham to Detroit. But like, I ain't done yet. 7th place is not where I want to be. You know, like, this bike is badass, and I know that. And we've been every day on the bike has just been like today, Wednesday, before where were we going? St. Louis, east-west. Like, dude, progress. Yesterday, so much progress. And each day on the bike, like, I'm just getting comfier and comfier and comfier, and I'm finding myself again. Like, I'm starting to do things on the bike that I haven't done in a long, long time, and like, that makes me happy.
Yeah. It's a feeling.
It's just a feeling. Back. You start, you're chasing your whole life, and sometimes you lose it, like through the injuries or whatever. Like, even just little stuff, like I when I know I'm on, like when I'm riding, when I'm on, like I can come into a turn and I put my say if I'm coming in a right hand turn, I put my leg up before anything, like that's one less thing. And like, I found myself doing that the last 2 days because we put some different suspension stuff on. And like, you don't even think about it, but when you do it, I was like, oh yeah.
That's it.
I was like, this is it, you know? So yeah, I don't know. Everything's been going great. And going back to that story, like.
Yeah, so you bought it with 15 hours.
I bought the bike with 15 hours. And when the day he called me, it had 72 on it.
Damn.
In 2 months. So like, I put it in, and I could say that from the chest. Like, I put the work in, not knowing what I was going to do, but I was going to be ready for a call. And, you know, through that whole process, I wasn't just calling Mitch. I'm calling everyone, everyone twice a day. I'm getting red buttoned, like, I'm getting an answer. Yeah, we'll think about it. All right. Calling back next week. Yeah, we're still thinking about it. Like, just like shit like that, and that, like, I see these people at the races now, and like, I'm just like, like, I really look at them, because they fueled me, you know, whether they know it or not or care or whatever. Like, yeah, it's good, but it gets me fired up thinking about it. But yeah, back to the bike thing. Like, put the time in on Supercross, and after Drew got hurt at Daytona, I was at Daytona actually because we're about hour 15 from there. So I was like, I'm just gonna go for the day, watch qualifying, and then Levi was like, "Yo, come over," like, cause he didn't even go. He fished that day. He was like, "Yo, come over," and LeBlanc was in town. He's like, "Let's make steaks and hang out, whatever." I'm like, "Bet." Rather watch the race at home, especially Daytona. It's hard to see everything and whatever. So I went for practice, and yeah, it was actually funny because it was like, you know how the garages are at Daytona? It was like Suzuki, Star, PC. So, like, I'm kicking it with Bogle and Colt. Those are, like, my guys at the races. Kicking it there. Obviously, I still got boys at Star, whether that's Nate or whatever. And, like, I'm to the point now with Star guys, like, I'll walk in their tent or their garage, and, like, they're cool with it, you know? I think after when I was on Honda, like, I had that grudge there for sure. But, so, I, you know, Suzuki and Yamaha, I talked to Swan or whatever, Nate and PB, and I was like, Mitch is right here. Perfect, you know? So I go over there, and actually Nixon was there. I saw Nixon first. So I was like, I walked around, and we kicked it for a little bit. Met Dan Fahey, turn around, go to talk to Mitch. He rolls away. I'm like, all right, whatever, cool. During the day, whatever, I'll come back. Go over there, Suzuki, Star, talk to Nate and PB. You know, just trying to help them with whatever. Because I like to see my boys succeed too. Like, whether if I saw Nate do this line or Pierce do that line, like, I'm going to go over there and tell him. I don't care if I should or shouldn't, you know? Like, I know how it is there. There's not many people telling you what to do. It's all work. So I'm going to go tell them this. Do that. Go back to Cali. This is after Q2. So I'm like, I'm trying to bounce, you know, before the traffic and get home for the heat races. And got to talk to Mitch again, dude. Just miss him. I'm like, damn, all right, I'm out of here. Whatever, I'll call him Monday. And this was before, because Drew got hurt at night. So I'm at Levi's house, and we're cooking steaks, whatever, etc. And I see Drew's name start dropping. I'm like, fuck, did he crash? Like, I was obviously, like, you don't want to see that. I'm like, all right, whatever. You don't hear anything for Saturday night, Sunday, you don't hear anything. And call Mitch Monday after I rode. So around the afternoon, my time. And calling him thinking he ain't going to answer, bro. I've called him 100 times. Like, he ain't answering me, dude. But I'm going to just keep trying. He answers, bro. Like, second ring. I'm like, oh, here we go. Hey, Mitch, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I was like, hey, I saw one of your guys go down this weekend. And, like, I'm still here. And I know you know that, but I want you to hear it from my voice again. He's like, yeah, I might need you. I'm like, all right, I'm here. You know that. He's like, all right, hangs up. That's Monday. I'm like, dude, this is the farthest we've gotten. Like, it was like a 1.5-minute phone call. Farthest we've gotten since I saw him in person. That was Monday. Tuesday, nothing. Rode Tuesday. Wednesday, nothing. So, I'm like, I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm like, I could be racing. I think it was Indy. I was like, I could be racing Indy for all I know. I don't know. So I'm like, I'm getting myself ready for it. Like, I'm ready on the bike, but I'm trying to get myself mentally ready for it and start watching film from like old races or whatever, blah, 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 blah. And that was Wednesday. Thursday comes around. I rode Monday, Tuesday, Thursday that week because no phone call Wednesday. I'm like, all right, ain't no way he's telling me to get on a flight, be there Friday. Like, there's just no way, right? But I was ready for it. But then Thursday morning come around and still no phone call. I'm like, whatever, I'm going to load the bike up and go ride. So sure enough, I do go to Sandbox that day. Had a sick day on the bike, but dude, I think I broke my subframe. I think I seat bounced something too hard and like my subframe snapped, which makes sense. The aluminum frame, it's got 70 hours on it. It's starting to wear off. So like and keep in mind, dude, there was days like from the 55-hour mark to 70, I was losing bolts, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm losing bolts. This thing's stripping. This thing's out. So it's starting to get to that point where I'm like, bro, I'm 2 months into this and what am I doing, bro? Like, it really came down to that a couple times and I'm like, nope, I've gotten this far. Like I'm not stopping. So that Thursday comes around before Indy and I go to the track, had a great day. I think I did like 2:15s and broke my subframe like last lap of the main. So I pull off a lap early Like, I knew something felt weird, but I didn't know. So I go to put the bike on the stand and like, bro, it's just like ding, ding, ding. So I'm like, damn, well, there goes my week. So I was going to ride again Friday. So sure enough, I'm like, oh, I got to figure this out. Maybe I can, I'm thinking in my head, maybe I can ask Rob for an extra one and they can send him one. Like, I don't know. And so I have gym that day. So I ride, I wash the bike, do gym, get back. It's around like 3 p.m. Just I'm pissed, bro. It was one of those long days, bike breaks, still nothing going on. Like, I'm pissed. I get back, throw my bike on the stand, just throw all my gear in the corner and walk in the house. And I'm like, dude, I haven't eaten since breakfast. And like, when I get hungry, I get super hangry. You know, you kind of get that headache or like dizziness. And I go in my fridge, but I got nothing. I'm like, whatever. Just rip a Gatorade, some watermelon, lay down. I'm like, I take naps a lot. So I'm like, I'm going to take a nap. I'll wake up fine, whatever. Dude, I fall asleep. This is where it gets good. I fall asleep, and I'm rambling right now. Sorry, but like I fall asleep.
That's what we're here for, bro.
I fall asleep, and I'm pissed, bro. And that morning or Wednesday night, Levi's like, "Hey, I'm gonna race Day in the Dirt." I don't know if you saw he raced that with Crockett. He raced Day in the Dirt South or whatever they call it at Dade City.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yo, they have a 2-man race and a 3-man race." He's like, "We'll do the 2-man race, and then we'll do a 3-man race with Crockett." I'm like, bet, bro. Yeah, hell yeah. He was like, just put your motocross suspension on because it kind of gets gnarly. I think the motos were like 40 minutes or whatever. I'm like, bet, bro, I'm down. That happens to my bike Thursday. Break the subframe.
So you're pissed.
And practice is Friday. Yeah, practice is Friday. So I'm like, dude, oh my God. So whatever, go back home, fall asleep, wake up. Or no, I'm sleeping, and I have my phone like right here. Because if I fall asleep in the day, I normally set a timer just so I don't sleep till 8 p.m.
Yeah, yeah.
So I set like a 30-minute timer, and I put it right here because I'm a deep sleeper. And sure enough, phone call. I have my phone face down. Levi Kitchen. I'm like, whatever. What? And I was like, what? He's like, he's all sus, bro. Like, I could hear it in his voice right off the rip. I'm like, what? He's like, so what are you doing? Nothing, bro. You just woke me up. Like, I'm still pissed. He says, kind of pauses. He's like, so yeah, I know something you don't. Just like that. And I'm like, what, bro? Like, I'm thinking he's calling me for something for Day in the Dirt, you know? He goes, yeah. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I don't know if I could tell you. I'm like, bro, don't do that to me. Like, please don't. He's like, nah, I'm just messing with you. So I'm like, what? And he's like really nagging it on. I'm like, I'm about to throw my phone, bro. And he goes, yeah, so I just got off the phone with your new boss. Just like that. And I'm like, nah. Like, nah, dude. And it gets me fired up thinking about it. But I'm like, nah. He goes, yeah, just have your phone on. You're going to call in like 5 minutes. Bet. Hang up. So I'm sitting there, dude. I go from dead asleep to like, dude, pumping.
Just beaming.
Pumping, dude. Get up, and I start ripping circles around my kitchen because I have a center aisle. Just ripping laps, waiting, dude. So I'm like he wouldn't, like he could mess with me, but like Levi's not the type of dude to like really mess with me.
He ain't playing like that.
Yeah, he ain't playing like that. Like, I got buddies that would play like that, but Levi's not like that. So I'm like, holy shit, whatever.
That's some Duke Gomez shit.
yeah, literally. But yeah, sure enough, I'm sitting there just like that, just waiting on my phone, and Mitch Payton. I'm like, oh my God, dude, this is it. Pick up right away. Hey, Mitch, how are you? Good, buddy. How you doing? You can tell he's all happy. I'm like, oh, he's happy, whatever. But I don't know. Good. And we go to blah, blah, blah. He's like, I was like, yeah, hey, how are you? He's like, good. How are you? I'm like, oh, doing well. I rode today, blah, blah, blah. And then he pauses for like a good second or 5 seconds, whatever. I'm like, did I say something? Like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, so did Levi call you? I'm like, yeah, he just got off the phone with me, but I didn't know if he was messing around. Like, I've been waiting on your phone call, you know? And he goes, yeah, we're on. Let's do this. Just like that. I'm like, all right, when do you need me out there? And he goes, just be out here ready to go Monday to ride. And this was Thursday. And I said, easy. And we bantered. He asked me how I felt and whatever for a couple more minutes. And that was it, dude. Hung up. And I remember this whole thing, dude. Like, just all the weight, the pain, like, the suffering, the crying, the sleep I lost, the misery, like it all just gone, dude. Like it just, I felt it. And it was the sickest thing ever. And right away, I'm in a family group chat with my 2 little sisters and my mom and dad, and call them on FaceTime right away. And like my dad joins. My dad's always on his phone. He joins. Boop. My little sister joins. She's like 10. Boop. I'm like, all right, I got 2. I'm missing 2. I'm waiting, and I'm just trying to spew. Like, I'm just rambling, bro. Yeah, whatever. Trying to, like, whatever. And then my other sister joins, and my mom joins. And I'm, like, mid-conversation to something, just random, bro, off the walls. I'm yapping. I was like, yeah. So, like, Mitch called me. And, like, they all got quiet. And it was just, dude, like, I teared up saying it. And it makes me emotional now. And, dude, right away, like, they all just lit up. And it was sick. Yeah, and we spoke about it for, I don't even know, a while. And they all asked me separately how it went down. And, like, we're all on the same call. And I'm just, dude, I'm stoked. I'm sitting, again, I'm pinging through my house, my room, bathroom, outside, inside, like, whatever, garage. And, yeah, man, that was that. And, like I said, Friday, I booked my flight right then there Thursday, packed Friday, and flew out Saturday because I was like, well, I'd rather fly Saturday just so I can get there, have all day Sunday.
Get recovered.
Get recovered, food shop, like get ready for my week. So I knew it was going to be a long week. And yeah, like I said, man, that was like March 7th, I guess. And I know the dates because it was March 9th was the Monday, which is my birthday. So I turned 21, first day at the track, K4, which is on the hill, which is like, bro, that known Stu clip of him through the loops, like,
just iconic.
I've watched that 1,000 times. Like, McGrath, just everyone's been there, right? So I like, and that was my first time because Yamaha is kind of, they're on the hill, but they're far put. So I've never really been to the Honda Cowie side. And I like drive up and I'm walking the track quick. So I got there super early. I think I was the first person there. And like, I'm walking the track and you can see like K2, old TLD, Husky, Honda, and you're like, dude, this is dope. Like, I've never had an overhead view of it. So, yeah, man, we got to work that Monday and haven't looked back since. And luckily, I had that weekend off. So I rode 4 days that week. Had a big week of testing. Didn't touch the bike race week because I was like, I'm happy on it. I didn't want to get lost in the sauce testing. I was like, I know I'm going to be on a good platform right away. I kind of tweaked some shit, just like bars and whatever, and little stuff like that, and went to Birmingham. And yeah, like I said earlier, like got to the race, and I'm like, all right, we're back. Like, this is reality. And like I said, I think I was happy at the test track, and not saying the bike was bad the first race. I just missed the mark a little bit. So right away, dude, like, we watched film together, and I was like, hey, I think this could be better. That could be better. This could be better. I just voiced all my opinions. And, dude, Mitch is, like, so open to all that, which I was nervous telling him. So I'm like, I'm this new kid on the block. Like, I'm not going to show up and tell him this and that. Like, he knows what he's doing, you know? But I'm like, I'm here for a reason. So I voiced all my opinions, and, dude, so cool about it. He's like, all right, let's get to work tomorrow on it. Dude, it's just been building and better and better and better. So, yeah, like I said, I got 2 races under my belt now. It's been progression every day. Races have been good. Like, first race back for me was we all kind of agreed that it was kind of like, it was east-west. It was a gnarly race to come back to.
Dude, for
like,
real.
Gnarly with only a couple of days. And like, yeah, I was on a Cowie 450 and Cowie 250. You could say they're similar, but they're not, bro. They're not. Like, yeah, the fender's the same color.
Dude, how slow does a 250 feel after you've been on a 450?
Honestly.
I mean, maybe you're unfactored.
Yeah,
so
honestly, like, it wasn't that bad. Like, I know what you're saying because I've done the stock.
It's just such a different feeling.
It's a different feeling, but the power really wasn't. It was more so just like the feel. And for me, the biggest thing was the timing, the Supercross timing. Like, 450, bro, second, third gear, you were whop. Whop. You're not even thinking. You're not even breathing. Just whop. The 250, you really have to get your timing and stuff down. So that was the biggest thing for me. But, excuse me. Yeah. Like I said, each day. And now that I have some races under my belt, it's been good. And we're getting to it. And I got goals to achieve. So I'm looking forward to it.
I love it for you, bro.
Yeah. Thank you.
What a ride.
Yeah. Gnarly. Nuts.
What's up, Gypsy Gang? I'm so stoked to announce my new flannel with Dixxon. You can check the link in the description below or head to Dixxon.com. But we've been working on this for about a year now. I picked all the colors, I picked the design, I picked the patterns, and it's finally alive. If you've worn Dixxon flannels before, you know that they are the best flannels that you can buy. And if you've never had the privilege of owning a Dixxon flannel of your own, this is about as good as an excuse as you will ever have. I've been wearing this flannel all through Japan. I've been wearing it on the podcast. It's well and truly wear tested. Remember, head to Dixxon.com, click the link in the description to cop the all new Gypsytales signature Dixxon flannel.
I mean, as much as it sucks to go through, like if you take the lessons from this, which it honestly sounds like you do, like to do that amount of work, to put fucking 60 hours on a 450 with no promise of anything, and even just to be around guys that have got everything that you want. Like everyone can relate to that. Dude, there's a fucking 1,000 podcasts that, well, not 1,000, but there's podcasts that make fucking millions and millions of dollars, and you're just like, fuck, wouldn't that be nice?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be nice to just have what those guys have? And like, it's a very human emotion. It's a very human thing to feel and go through. And you're like, you've got nothing. You've got no paycheck. You've got one bike that you paid for, and you're going to the same track as Ken Roczen, Levi Kitchen. Just grinding every day with no promise, with just like you said, just like a little crack in the door of hope that maybe you can get a ride. And that's coming from the kid that won all of the Lorettas, won the Horizon Award. Ryan Dungey won that award. Jason Lawrence won that award. Trey Kennard won that award.
Some badass people.
And it's like your career just didn't play out the way that you thought it would. And it's like to have to go through that and to have to dig yourself out of that hole. I mean, it's pretty special to get back to where you got to,
No, I mean, it really is special. Like, and I've had the time now to really like
reflect and
ponder on all those times. And like, dude, you got to be thankful for what you have. And even if you think the grass is always greener on the other side, I could tell you it is not, dude.
You know where the grass is greener?
Where?
Where you fucking water it.
Yeah, exactly. Straight up. So, yeah, it's been good, man. Like I said, I've had the time to reflect and just kind of relive that whole time span in a glimpse. Like, it's crazy, and I don't like to reflect on my past too much, but like, you wake up and it's ahead, focus is on the future. And like I said, I've learned a lot from it, and hopefully good things ahead, but you definitely got to be thankful for what you have, because it could be gone in a second. So, yeah.
Do you think that you're almost like redoing your pro career now? Like you're kind of hitting a reset on what it means to be a factory rider again, because before you didn't know the other side. And so many of you kids that get the crazy star deal and have it all laid out in front of you, you're like living in a fucking dreamland. Like it's not, you know what I mean? It's not reality. And the fact that, like LeBlanc, like there's guys that are just chewed up and spat out, and that I get it, and I don't think.
Shout out ML, because he's my guy.
He's a good dude. So it's not like, I get it from Star's perspective. I get it from any team's perspective. Like, this is a fucking business.
It is.
I run a business. If you don't perform on the team, you get fucking clipped. Because that's what's on the line. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a charity, and you come into this game with just the path laid out, and you never had to go through, I guess, the path that some other people have to take, and it's not your fault. You fucking crushed it. You won everything you did what you were supposed to do, but by doing that, you just got shielded from like this whole different reality of what getting a factory ride looks like, or you know what I mean? So like you're almost getting a completely different perspective on what it means to be a factory rider. And I'm sure that after everything that you've been through, and after blowing up 500 Hondas, that you're like, holy fuck, this is the dream.
No,
Like, this is the dream.
It is the dream. Like, truly, it is. You know, I think I definitely took what I had before for granted, you know, which, you know.
And again, I get it.
So be it. You know, it happened. Like, what do I know? I'm 14 on the best bike, the best team, bro. I'm a kid. I just hit teenage years. I'm getting paid 6 figures. Like, what do I know, you know? So, I don't know. It you know, we could talk about it for days, but like I said, it does feel like a little restart. Not full restart, but a little restart, because now, like, I got a second chance. And not only did I get a second chance, I got a second chance for Mitch Payton. He believed in me, you know? Like, he saw something in me when no one else didn't, you know? And that means something to me, you know? It truly does. And, yeah, like I said, it's go time. You know, there is no plan B. It's plan A, you know? So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the future and these next couple of races.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, that first week, like, how was it being on the team?
Dude, it was like, I was floating, bro. Like, the floating all week. Like, came out here and I spoke to Levi. I mean, he obviously, like, he was the one that relayed the message, so, which was cool because that's what Mitch wanted him to do. And, you know, he was like, hey, like, you're going to have a long week. Just be ready for it. And I'm like, no, I know. Like, trust me, I know. And Levi's kind of like my older brother, you know, at some times. And he's like, hey, look, be ready for it. He's like, any questions you have, like, call me. I'm here for you, you know? And, yeah, it was a sick first day. Like I said, it's my 21st birthday. And, like, dude, I'm back in SoCal and Corona. The clouds are gloomy, like, badass brand new fucking PC bike, like, full teams there. Like, it was just, dude, it was such a sick day. And I was nervous as shit, honestly. Like, I wasn't nervous when I got the call. It literally hit me when I put my helmet on.
Yeah, you're like, fuck.
Like, when I threw my leg over the bike, I'm like, all right, like, let's lock in here. You know, fantasy land's over. Like, it's time. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was good. And like I said, in my head, I'm like, all right, what do we do? Like, because I was stressing, bro. New bike, 250, new track, new dirt. I'm like, all right, let me get the track down first. Got the jumps down. Then, like,
how long did that take you?
About 8-10 minutes. Like, quick. I'm a pretty good track learner. 8-10 minutes. I'm like, all right, jump the jumps, take a little break, reset. Because I'm always better. Like, if say I go out and do a session, come back, whether that's for 5 minutes, at least just take a sip of water and then go back out. Dude, I'm good. I feel like I've been there all day. So that's what I did. Came back, took a little break, went back out for session 2, and we're just riding. You know, I'm chilling, no pressure, whatever. And there's a lot of pressure, but, like, no pressure, whatever. And next thing you know, we're there till, I think it was like 3 p.m. the first day, and we started riding at 9, just testing our ass off, you know, and nothing crazy, just stuff to get me comfortable. And that was Tuesday, day off Wednesday. Went to K1 because we were at K4 the first 2 days. Went to K1 Thursday because I was like, hey, I want to ride the bike somewhere else, feel it out. So we went to K1. More changes then. Friday, more changes. Like, it was just, and shout out to Jake, our suspension guy, dude. He's crushing it, bro. Like, he understands what I say so much and, like, vice versa. So we're kind of just peanut butter and jelly right now to where, you know, knock on wood, that stays the same with the changes. But everything's just been, like I said, and even with the motor stuff and Ian and Mitch and, like, my mechanic Gavin, like, it's just, it's like a family here. You really feel that when you're around at the shop or at the track, like, which I like. Like, I don't know, family style. It's sick.
Yeah. It's funny. So I was at MotoGP on the weekend, and a guy.
That looks sick too, by the way. Right. I want to do those once or go to one.
It's the best weekend of the year for me now.
I want to do one of those.
So it's funny because, like, I don't do shit. I mean, I don't do shit at Supercross really either. Yeah. But, like, I don't do shit that weekend. I don't have any agenda. Yeah. Like, I got friends that help with that event. Yeah. And so it's just like, I just get to show up, hotels booked.
So sick.
And I just get to hang. So and I'll help if I need, you know, if there's something that they want me to do, I'll fucking do it. But that's turned into, like, one of my most fun, zero pressure friend hangout weekends. It was so fucking good.
They look so fun. That and F1. I want to do a fun F1.
F1's not as fun.
Really?
No. F1, the vibes. Like, it's cool to see.
Probably stiff.
Yeah, it's just so gnarly.
I just want to go to one to say I went to one.
Sometimes the passes, like, I can't remember. I went to one of them. I mean, yeah, there's been some crazy ones, but I went to one of them, like, the pass was like $21,000.
Holy.
Just for the fucking lanyard.
Yeah. Like, damn.
Yeah, it is no.
I'm not paying for that.
And that
but
couldn't.
yeah,
I didn't pay for it.
Yeah,
That didn't even get me like up into the
For
fucking
sure,
the good
Yeah.
places.
The money in that sport, bro.
Ridiculous.
Stupid.
Yeah, but the bullshit as well is
Stupid.
amplified.
For sure, yeah.
But anyway, so I'm just chilling at the like after the race, end of the day, and then this random guy walks up to me, and he's from I won't say too much, but he's like from a company, and then he's like, dude, love the podcast, blah blah blah, and then he mentioned something about Pro Circuit, and like he got to like know a dude there, and it was Ian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's like, oh, do you know Ian? And I was like, I actually do know Ian.
Yeah.
I've known Ian for fucking 20 years almost.
Yeah.
And so he's like, man, they're fucking smart, eh? Like really, really, really smart. 'Cause
Yeah.
he obviously works around a bunch of different people.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I'm actually blown away. He's like, either they're incredibly smart from an engineering standpoint,
Yep.
or they have blown up a fuckload of engines to get the knowledge
Yeah.
that they have got.
Probably both.
And I'm like, probably a mix of both, bro.
Yeah.
But he was like, this dude was genuinely
Yeah.
floored with like how sick Pro Circuit was.
Yeah.
He's like, I had no idea, because he's like not a guy from that world, you know.
Yeah. No, dude, PC's badass. Like, I don't know if you've been to the shop or not.
I've never
like,
been into the race shop. I've been into the main shop.
the main shop.
I need
yeah.
to just go in there and have
The
one
race
day.
shop, it's probably more,
It'd probably
low
be-
key, but
yeah.
I'm sure you can go in there. I don't know. But yeah, no, like, did you see it? Like, because when I was spending that month there, going there every day, like, I really saw, like, I'm trying to watch Mitch, like, what he's doing at this time. So, like, I don't know. I'm into that. Like,
What's
I
his
gotta,
coffee
yeah,
order?
exactly. You
Yeah.
know, like, just little stuff. So,
What beer? Okay,
dude,
Coors Light.
yeah,
Perfect.
CLs, yeah, mountains are blue, like, but like, bro, he's got his room, parts room, bike room, dyno room, suspension room, motor
And that
room.
dyno be running.
Bro, running, yeah, oh yeah, like running, yeah. So like, dude, he's just everywhere. That's why it's so hard for me to go there and talk to him. So I'm like when my first day there, like, he knew what I was there for. He took the time and we spoke for a while. But the next couple meetings, dude, they were tough. Like, I'd have to go in there, and again, I felt like an idiot, dude. Mate, you got a second? Yeah. Like, all right, bet, you know. So gnarly, bro. PC, like, and they make all their own stuff. Like, it's legit. It's a legit business and company. Mitch has done well for himself.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
So switching gears a bit,
Mhm.
Like realistic goals for the end of the season. What are you thinking? Where do you think you can get to?
I think I can win, honestly. I have that confidence right now and the belief in myself, you know, and goal is a hard thing to put. Obviously, there's goals leading up to the big goal, right? And
Yeah.
I know in our sport it can happen in one race. Yeah, you can go out and win, but you see who I'm racing right now. Like, Joe's at the peak of his career, Davies, Handmaker, like, bro, the top three, they're on right now.
Cole's a fucking wizard in the whoops, bro.
He's on right now, and I'll give it to him. I don't want to, but I'll give it to him, you know? So,
Yeah.
like, but even just that heat race was in front of him for 6 minutes. What's another 6 more or 8 more going to do, you know? Like, I know I can do it, but right now I want to just keep working, just be my best, and I know I can accomplish what I want to. It's just keep believing in myself, keep working hard, keep trusting everyone around me, trust myself. I get good starts. That's it, bro. Like, it's so easy, and it's easier, I guess, said than done or whatever. But like, dude, it's so much easier. Like, for me, I hadn't raced in a long time, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. Like, just in the heat race last weekend, being up with the
Up
leaders,
front.
dude,
Oh.
it's so easy, bro. Like, it really is. And when I came off the track, I'm like, damn.
I've been
Like,
fucking around in the mid pack this
Yeah,
whole
bro.
last
Like,
year.
what am I doing?
Yeah.
Literally, though. So, just that 6 minutes, all I needed. Let's keep going back during the week. More progress. Like, Mitch is like, hey, because I'm in Florida. He's like, hey, when do you want to go back? I don't care. Not yet. You know, like, I'm here to work. I want to get better. Because say if I went back after Detroit, I just missed all this week's of progression, you know, like, you know, whatever. So I don't know. I think obviously we got to get the top 5 and get the podium, can get the win. But it's coming down to it. I think East-West this weekend is going to be fun. Like, and I know what I know going into it, which will be good. Top 5, I think, is realistic. And then we got, what is it? I don't even know. Nashville, Cleveland, Philly, Salt Lake. So, like, I got some good rounds coming up. Some Northeast, rounds, the dirt I know. I'm going to have the boys there, the friends there, the family. So, yeah, like I said, just one day at a time. I'm not one to look too far. Like, I really do take my life day by day and session by session. So, yeah, we'll see.
So, switch gears to some bench racing.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoyable season as a fan. You're a fan for most of it.
Bro, yeah, 100%. The last couple of years have been mental. Like,
legit.
Mental, honestly. So, this year has been good. Obviously, my guy's Coop. Coop's my guy, my day one. And it's kind of mental, too. Like, being at Sandbox the last couple of years, like, I've gotten close with Ken, and I don't play sides, bro. I'm friends with Coop. I'm friends with Ken. Like, none of that.
Well,
but
I
like,
think they've even kind of squashed that.
They squashed it.
They
for
went
sure,
surfing together.
I know. I saw that.
Like,
we banted about that, dude. Me and
bro,
Coop.
put that on the
I know.
list of shit I never thought that I would see.
Dude, I saw that picture on Instagram. I was like, oh, screenshot in the group chat.
There's
right
no
away.
fucking way.
Screenshot, because I'm in a group chat with Coop and all my boys on text, and I'm like, damn, bro. And that rivalry they had from 2017 to still, but like those golden years from 17 to 21, 22, bro, like that's like the first, like, people are like, oh, who's your favorite rider? You know, the Stu, the RCs. Like, bro, I don't remember that stuff. Like, the stuff I really remember is like him and Ken going at it.
That's what's crazy.
People sleep on those years, bro. Just because it was only them, the field really wasn't that deep. It was, but you know what I'm saying? Like, crazy, bro.
Man, the amount of times. Well, that's what's wild. Like, your generation. So for me, McGrath for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But that was more like my dad's era.
Yeah.
Or like my dad's you know, when dad was my age and a fan, like he was the guy.
Yeah.
But then for me, it was like Carmichael, Stewart, Wyndham, Reed. Like, to me, that's my era of Supercross. But for you guys, and then there's like some dude like Coop and Kenny, it would be the Villo, James, that era. So everyone, wherever you grow up.
I remember the Dunge, like the late year Dunge.
Kid.
But I was a kid, you know. I remember the Dunge and like Marv that year. And like I guess 2017 would have been like 12. So like the year Tomac went crazy, but he didn't win the title. I think that was 2017, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember that year a little bit. But like my true like real racing memories is like, bro, Ken and Coop, like not really crazy. Like I still watch those races and I still talk to them about it. Like,
dude, 2016 Ken Roczen outdoors.
Bro, beast.
Oh.
I think too, if Ken didn't have those arm injuries.
Yeah, 100%. I stupidly said in the Jet pod, so this is me not getting it right every week when I sit in here.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise, surprise. I fucking make mistakes.
Yeah.
I said this comment, like we were talking about how hard it is to stay locked in for 17 rounds. And so last year, I've probably told this story too many times, but I was at Star when I did the Cole video, the 100 hours with Cole.
Yep.
And
I watched it.
So Coop that was the week before Colorado. And he was like in the dog fight for the championship.
Mm-hmm.
And bro, I've been friends with Coop since he was 14.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even fucking look at me at all.
Yeah.
Didn't say a word to me.
This was at the race?
No, this was the whole week at Star.
Oh, yeah, that's Coop. Yeah.
Bro,
yeah,
gone.
Yeah,
And like, I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
I was like, this is sick as fuck to get to see this dude in this mode right now. And so I saw that and it really changed my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been around the sport a long time.
Yeah.
And I think I saw it with Dunge, but I wasn't old enough or like smart enough to realize what it was.
Yeah.
Like I thought he was just being a dick.
Mm-hmm.
But then seeing it with Coop this time around, I was like, that's the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you have to go.
Yeah.
And so I was on the Jet thing. I was like, yeah, that's why Kenny hasn't won a championship. Like he just hasn't been able to take himself to that place for that long. And not the way, like it was too quick of a comment to like actually get my full thought across, you know? And then Kenny fucking wins on the weekend.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck those guys that said all that shit. And I'm like, I'm that fucking guy.
Whatever.
He's talking to me. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
that to go through what, like, this is your point.
Yeah.
To go through what he went through. Bro, 2017, no one was beating Ken Roczen.
Yeah.
If he doesn't race A2, if he sits on the couch and just, hey, I'm going to skip this weekend.
Yeah.
Motherfucker still wraps it up around early.
Yeah.
That's how good that version of Ken Roczen was in 2017.
Bro.
We got robbed of his full potential that night.
Yeah.
But that motherfucker has won after that every year almost.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, it almost like, yeah, he doesn't have a title right now. He's back in the hunt.
He's in this motherfucker.
He's back
in it. Yeah.
He's back in the hunt. But there's things that you remember about guys when their career's over. Everyone is going to remember what he came back from to turn into Kickstart Kenny.
Yeah.
To turn into that dude.
Yeah.
Puts him up in, he was always going to be one of the greats. Bro, think about what you've been through and how hard it was to get back from your injuries.
Yeah.
Think about that fucking injury.
I know.
Almost lost
What was
his
it? 9 or 11 surgeries?
Bro.
6 just to get the dirt out? Bro.
Like that. And he is winning 450 races.
Yeah.
And he is in the hunt for the championship in 2026. What a bad motherfucker, dude.
Like it's crazy because obviously I've been at Sandbox, like I said, the last couple of years. And like, bro, as a kid too, like Kenny was my guy, bro. Like 2012, I have a picture. I can't remember what race it was.
He was KTM then.
KTM, number 70.
Number 70, yeah.
I think on a 250 still.
Yeah. He did East or West Coast. He won that year, right?
Yeah. I have a picture with him from one of the, I don't know if Supercross Outdoors, whatever. And like, that's when like the old fitteds were still in style. He had his on backwards and I had mine on backwards. And I've showed it to him plenty of times. Like growing up, like when I was a kid, like, bro, he was my guy. Like I would sit at his tent, sit in his autograph line for hours. And like now fast forward 10 plus years, like, dude, we hang out. Like, it really is insane.
And he's the fucking man.
Is, dude. He's the best. Like
the coolest guy.
Just
the coolest guy.
Like he's just him, bro. Like if you know Kenny's just Kenny. Like doesn't care. Like obviously cares for what he has to, but just doesn't care. Lives his life. He has his home gym. Like
lives the dream,
bro. Like when I was trying to figure out all, like because I went from Tallahassee to Central Florida, and I'm trying to figure out. I got Levi down there, yeah, but. I'm not going to kick it with Levi every time. Like we got our own lives going on or whatever. And like Kenny brought me in like family dude, let me use his gym. Like we hang out, go on the boat, play golf with Griff. Like even at the track still, like if I get done earlier, even like I go to the track almost every day at Sandbox, even the days I'm not riding because the gym is there.
Yeah.
So I'll go there early, hit gym and watch the guys ride from like 11 to 1 or just their second part of the day. And dude, I just watch Kenny. Like I can still just, you know how you have those guys, you can just, bro, any day, any place, anytime, go and just watch someone.
Oh, beautiful.
Dude, like, God, he is good, bro. And like you said, like, dude, he went through hell. I can tell you that from what I went through. He went through hell and like just a bad MFer straight up. So it's cool. It's cool. And yeah, Coop and Ken and dude, even Jason and Colt and like Dino and I'm friend like, dude, same thing. I have a picture with Dean and picture with Dunge and like now, like I saw Dunge this weekend at breakfast, dude. Coolest guy ever. Like
Dunge
it honestly makes me happy because like I was once that little kid waiting in autograph lines. I got Dungy's autograph on the Wheaties box, Still got it in my room. Like
that's sick.
It's so badass how like life goes,
Yeah.
Even Pastrana, bro, like. Coolest dude ever when I met him. It's nuts, honestly, but it's cool whenever I see a little kid or even a fan, bro, like in the autograph line or say I'm putting on the helmet, like time to go, like hit one of those. I'm like, I gotta do it, dude. Cause like, and I'm not saying I'm one of those guys, but I'm still a professional. Yeah. And they look, they're looking up to me, whether it's a hillbilly in Alabama or a little kid in Georgia, like whatever, dude. So yeah, it's cool, dude. This sport is badass. That's why like you can't like, dude, it goes too quick. You got to enjoy the little things, and that's what I try and do best.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to eat my words on the Kenny thing, bro.
That happens. Everyone
Hey,
makes mistakes.
Hey, everyone does. Still fuck the privateers, but I definitely gotta own up to that. I'll take an L when I take an L, right?
Yeah.
And I took an L on the Kenny take.
Yep.
Wasn't what I was trying to say. What I was trying to say is it's hard to be locked in for all 17 rounds, and I think that
He's doing it right now.
he's fucking doing
Like
it.
I said, dude, like
He's doing
Eli
it right now.
is at his peak. Yeah, Jet's out. But even if Jet was in right now, I still think these guys, like every year, they're getting better.
You know what's crazy? So was it what was last weekend? Detroit.
Yeah.
The weekend before was Indy,
Yeah. Alabama.
Alabama.
Before
Yeah, it was Indy
Indy.
before.
Yeah.
So Alabama, right? Hunter almost laps Coop in 8th.
Yeah.
That's some Jet Lawrence shit.
Yeah.
So he gets the whole shot, checks the fuck out, laps up to Cooper Webb. Bro, that's literally some Jet Lawrence type shit. And so you're telling me that Jet would do that again? No.
Yeah.
Like he ain't, those guys would have really given Jet a challenge for the championship.
Yeah.
And like maybe just the fact that Jet's not there and Hunter's been able to like have
Hunter's been good, bro. Like, it's just, I get it. The sport, it's Eli, it's Jet. Bro, Hunter is, I was talking about someone at some point. Hunter's the best second guy on a 450 team, you know, because typically it's A and B guy or whatever, however you want to slice that dice. Like, bro, Hunter is number one. He's just got Jet.
yeah,
You know, like it's crazy. Like those brothers, bro. Shout out Dazzy, dude. Like, give me some of that juice, just a little bit.
I know.
Dude, it's crazy how good they are.
It's wild to think about Hunter's season. Second, first, second, first.
He's
second.
dungeoning
Like,
it right now this year. You know?
except for the weekend, which was
But that's his down race. They all had him.
Yeah.
That was his first down race. You know,
Yeah.
the people have him. You can't be perfect.
But how wild is it? I love how patient he was with the first win. Could have cleaned out.
Yeah.
Could have cleaned out Eli in San Diego.
Yeah.
Would have been a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
Had some restraint. He could have podiumed at A1, but he took ages to pass Ando. And I think that was just straight experience. Being like, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah.
I could probably get Prado
Yeah.
and get on the podium, but I've got Ando in front of me. We got history.
Yeah.
I ain't pushing this
Yeah.
motherfucker on
Yeah.
the first round of the year.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to wait, and I'm just going to stay behind this dude for 80% of the main event. He gets him in the end, gets 4th.
Yeah.
To me, I'm like, that's like a championship ride
Yeah.
at round 1.
Yeah.
And he hasn't even won a race yet. And then it's like so much restraint to get the win. And then to get the win at Arlington, Triple Crown, like straight up gnarly race with all the big boys. Kenny was there, Coop was there, Eli was there, like gets the win.
Yeah.
And then to win the 20-minute, you know? So it's just like just chip and chip and chip.
That's
and
where I go
chip.
back to before. Like, yeah, you got to be there. You got to have the speed, but it just takes time, bro. That's it. Especially my path takes time, and you gotta expect that, you know, and know that. So, like, it's crazy. Like, these guys are, you know, the Hunter Jet, like, they're on right now, dude. Even Eli, like, yeah, he's been off the last couple of races, bro. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, he might be struggling. Yeah, but look, he's been points leader again. Now watch, probably this weekend, he's probably gonna turn up, you know. So, like, it's crazy. And even Coop, like, Coop's having a bad season, bro. He still won his race. He's still been on the podium. Yeah, he's, you know, I know Coop really well. Like, yeah, he's probably had some bonehead moves that aren't like him, but, you know, it all stems back to, bro, 17 races. Like, people also don't understand. I don't even understand it because I've never done it, but, like, crazy.
So, Coop, I've said this a few times before, but I think Coop's season, the first few rounds just killed his whole year.
Yeah.
And a lot of that wasn't his fault.
It wasn't.
Like Chase cleaning him out at San Diego.
For A1, he whole shotted red flag.
And then red flag.
Yeah.
And dude, I think
Yeah.
that this is the best Cooper Webb's ever looked on the motorcycle.
I agree.
I don't think that he's ever been better on the bike than what he is right now. I just think that everyone else has right there with him. And then he kind of gave these dudes a 4-round head start, you know, and it's like, that's just a tough hole. And again, like you said, San Diego, Chase, A1 had the whole shot, red flag. Like there was a few things that were, again, in your control, but out of your control.
It's racing.
That put him in the position that he is. But this hasn't been it's been a bad season by his standards.
Yeah.
But riding fucking amazing. Like this ain't like Coop's done now. Like it's over. His best days are behind him. I actually think this was the best version of himself on the motorcycle.
This year, like I can agree with that, and I think he would too. Like best year speed wise he's had on a 450. And dude, knowing Coop, bro, probably be better next year.
Yeah.
This is just only gonna fuel him for next year. And if he wins another title, whoop-de-doo. I wouldn't be surprised, you know? So it's crazy. Like, and that's why I think it's going to be crazy. Like, and we're not that far out of having Eli retire, Coop retire, AP retire, Malcolm retire, who can retire. Like, dude, what's after that?
Bro, the sport's about to be very different.
Yeah.
Very
it's different. That's why, like, for the fans watching or listening and us, like, dude,
enjoy it.
Enjoy this. The last couple of years, this year and whatever, because like, bro, it's crazy. It really is crazy.
So who wins this championship 450?
What are the points right now?
I think it's Kenny's 13 back.
13 back.
Hunter's 4 back, I think.
4 back to Eli. And then who's fourth? Coop. He's like 20 something.
He's a fair way back now.
Ken.
Giving it to
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Ken. Just because, like, dude, he needs this. He knows that. And he, like, yeah, I know he said, you know, I see his interviews and I talk to him all the time. Like, he's like, yeah, race by race. But, like, I know deep down, like, he knows.
Yeah, this is a
But again, if it was Ken, if it was Hunter, if it was Eli, like.
Yeah, I'd be stoked with all 3.
That's what I'm saying.
All 3 of them, I'm, like, pretty pumped for each one of them.
Like, Ken and Eli are goats of our sport. And, like, Hunter will probably be one with his brother. So. Dude, it's nuts. I don't know. I think...
so, Kenny.
I'll give it to Kenny, yeah.
So, what tracks have we got coming up?
So, this weekend is St. Louis, which I've never been to. Everyone says it's sick.
Yeah, really good dirt.
Yeah.
Do you ever remember? You're probably too young to remember. St. Louis burned into my brain. James Stewart on a 125. Left-hander. Triple. Lands on the gas. Right-hander. Oh.
I don't know.
Everything.
I'm sure I've seen the clip.
It's everything. We'll clip this for people who haven't seen it.
Okay.
This is how I remember my James Stewart on a fucking 125.
Yeah. There's so many clips of him hitting like that. You know how he was. No rev, just even on 2 strokes. Like that thing would bog nothing. Like so many of those.
Savage, bro. So yeah, St. Louis, great dirt.
Yeah, so St. Louis, Nashville.
Yeah.
Cleveland, Ohio, which will be new.
Yeah, outlier round.
Philly.
Coop's good at Philly. Denver. Eli's good at Denver.
Yeah, but he doesn't really have a good track record there. And then Salt Lake. So I'm just trying to think of the dirt here. St. Louis is ready. Nashville can be ready. Cleveland's gonna be northeast dirt. Probably gonna be ready. Philly.
Ready. Probably gonna rain.
They're all ready, dude. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's anyone's championship or title at this point. But yeah, I want to see good racing. Whoever wins it deserves it. I wish Coop was still in this. I wish he didn't have those bonehead moves because you know how he is late. But yeah, I guess we'll see. We'll see.
Kenny,
yeah.
What about the Deegs going to the 450? How was your time with the Deegs?
Good. We're cool. Like we're not boys, but we're boys. You know. Like I keep like I said, I try and keep it cool with everyone because the last thing you need to be out there is having someone behind you just seeing red.
Yeah.
Because then it doesn't end up well.
Could you imagine being in the position that Deegs was in? Well, that he lives in, where it's like literally no one wants him to win.
Yeah.
Other than him, he wants to win. But no one else wants him to win. Like that's a position that he's carved out for himself. and
He's been under the spotlight since he was 3.
and thrives. He thrives in that position.
That shit at this point, it doesn't even face him.
I guess, like because
It
as an
doesn't.
amateur, it was the same shit.
Bro, it's been like that since he was 3 years old. Like that shit to him is us on our phones.
Just
you
normal.
know? It's normal stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Me and Haiden are cool. Like, you know, we've gone out together and we have times and whatever. But yeah, we're cool. And him on a 450, I guess there's only one way to find out.
Come on, give us a take.
I don't know, dude. I really don't. Like, what jet are we going to get this summer? What Hunter are we going to get this summer? What Eli? What Prado? He's a dog outdoors.
Bro, Prado is going to fuck some shit up.
I agree for sure. So, like,
He is going to
on
rip
paper,
outdoors.
J-Cube, underrated as hell. Like, there's over 5-6 guys that can easily walk Haiden. But then again, dude, if he goes out and walks them, I would not be surprised. So, I guess we'll see. Obviously, Paula, it's a long summer. He's been healthy for a long time now, so like he's strong.
And just
he's fit.
building and building.
He's just
and
got he's
building.
got the base, he's got the confidence, he's got it all.
Yeah.
At this point, he really does have it all, and I'll give that to him. So, yeah, I guess we'll see. But
Do you think like talent wise he can be as good as Jet, or do you think Jet's on like another level of talent?
that's a good question. I think Jet will always have him on talent. Just because, like, and Hayden's came a long way. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not knocking on him at all, but, like, he is sound on a dirt bike now. Because I remember when he got on the 250, like, he was little, scrawny, whatever. Like, his style wasn't great. It was good, but it wasn't great. Like, he's worked on his craft a lot to where it helps him now, and it'll help him even more on a 450. But, like, bro, Jet, like, until I see Haiden straight up dog Jet in a 30+2, it's Jet. Like, it's obvious. It's clear as day, to me at least. So, once I see that day where Haiden goes 1-1 and Jet goes 2-2, like, you know, like a Eli, like an Eli.
That would be the craziest shit.
That's it.
Like,
That's it. Until I see that day, Jet's got him. It's obviously. Look at the accolades, the stats, the wins. Like,
yeah, but look at Hayden's stats.
I know. 250, I know. But 250 and 450 class, bro, I don't know.
No,
Again,
I hear what you say.
I'm throwing my bants out there.
No,
I don't know.
Hey, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And dude, it's there's a word like I've been saying it because dude, it's all anyone asks me.
Yeah.
Like MotoGP.
That's all you see.
Fucking Jorge Martin. Who's going to win?
Yeah.
You know, like literally all the boys. And I'm just like, man, there's a world where Haiden Deegan does what Haiden Deegan does.
Yeah.
Which is win. He's won it.
Will what he does now, will it work forever? Guess we'll see.
But
I don't know.
But hey, if you look through the history, Super Mini won everything.
Yeah.
Last year, amateurs won everything.
Yeah.
Got a lot of records in the 250 class.
Yeah.
Won everything.
He does.
So then it's like you follow the trajectory.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Listen,
the odds would say, or history would say, that he's going to win at the next level because he's won it every.
and they do.
He's won it every next level.
Yeah.
But then there's Jet Lawrence, who got a fucking perfect season on a 450.
That's what I'm saying.
In his first, like, that's an unstoppable force, a movable object.
Yeah.
You know, and this is what I say to people, and this is what's crazy, is like, hey, there's a world where Haiden just keeps the trajectory going and he gets to the 450 and he's just on that level. And we just see these crazy battles with him and Jet.
Yeah.
And then there's also a world where Jet goes,
Yeah.
fuck that, and beats him by 45 seconds every moto
Like-
for the entire year. And then what happens? What happens if that's the world that
Yeah,
we're living
yeah.
in?
I know.
That
think-
shit's crazy.
I think, like, again, this is another topic that we can go on and on about, but my honest opinion is yes. Is Haiden him right now? 100%. But is Jet him? 1,000%, you know? So, like, until I see that straight up, whether it's at Southwick or Colorado or wherever, until I see him go 1-1 and walk Jet, I don't know. I really don't know. Am I going to be surprised if Haiden goes out and does that? No. He's fucking sick right now. But I don't know. I just think 450, outdoors, you still have a lot of other hitters in the class that are good right now, that are healthy. Like, I don't know. I just think, I don't know. I'm trying to think like bike wise too. Yamaha 450.
I think both the bikes are going to be pretty
I
sick.
think they're going to be good. I think they're on a new bike though this summer. So
Star?
I think, because isn't J Coop on the new one this year and Coop's on the old one?
I think so.
So that could be another factor, not as much data. I'm just speaking from a rider's perspective.
yeah.
Like, I think Jet's on the same bike.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So, like, they got data. I know him and Hunter are on similar stuff. So, like, this summer, probably
Crazy,
Jet.
bro.
But, like, of course, in the coming years, 2, 3, 4 years, of course, it's going to be. Look at 4 years ago. Look at where they both were. Who knows where they're going to be in 4 years is just my opinion.
But, man, what a crazy time to be a fan.
100%.
And the sport.
Nuts.
And the sport's going to be bigger for it.
Nuts, dude.
And, dude, man. But you wonder, like, one of the things I think about is I'm like, dude, what level of, like, shit are they going to bring? You know what I mean? In terms of, like, the talk and the, like, what you see out of Haiden now, which I'm fucking here for it. Like, it's not in any way a negative. But it's like, that works when you're winning. So it's like, can you bring the same energy when you're not winning?
No.
You can't. So then what is that?
You can, but
it doesn't.
you're going to pay it,
It doesn't hit the same.
It doesn't, yeah.
You know? So it's like, even that, I'm like, dude, if he starts winning, then he can keep talking. And then if he keeps talking, then, like, what does that do? Like, it actually is a crazy scenario. And the people, like, who really wins is the fans and the sport. If everyone keeps a level head about it and everyone takes it for what it is, like, we win as fans. And the sport, I'm telling you right now, will get bigger and bigger and bigger because of those two individuals.
No, that's for sure. I was just going to say, like, look at the ratings on Peacock, and you hear all about it. Every year, it's just going up and up and up.
Bigger.
And, yeah, it's probably because of them two and Eli and Kenny. But, like, bro, those two fan bases, like, the Deeks fan base, because I've been around the Star, the whole whatever, like, bro, holy, you know? Like,
if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. And then you look at, like, the Jet fan base. Bro, he's got obviously the same amount of fans, but like completely different genre or whatever you want to call it. So I don't know, dude. I think we're in for something good. But only one way to find out, and that's this summer. So we'll see. We'll see May, whatever it is.
Love it, dude. Well, man, this has been awesome.
Yeah, I'm stoked on this.
Thanks for doing it, bro.
Absolutely.
It was really cool to hear the story and what you've done, man. Like, you dug yourself out of a hole.
Yeah.
No matter what happens past that, you're going to be able to look back on the last couple of years and be proud of the choices that you made and the commitment that you showed to get back to where you are. And I've always been a fan. I didn't know the story. You made a fucking fan out of me through this.
Yeah,
and
I appreciate it.
I'm definitely going to be cheering for your success in this next little bit, bro.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. Honestly, I do. And yeah, how I'm looking at it now is I was in a hole. I'm back on even ground. So doesn't stop. You know, it's only going to be better and better. So yeah, thank you for your time, for the invite, for all this. It's been good bands. I hope everyone listening had a good time, and yeah, on to bigger and better things.
Nick Romano, ladies and gentlemen.
That's it.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsytales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.